we on? Oh boy. Hey, well,
Hi.
very excited to be here, folks. Thank you for tuning in to the Alaska Landmine Election Central. Can you turn your camera or your microphone off, stop, please? Are we on? Oh boy. Hey, well, very excited to be here, folks. Thank you for live tuning in to the Alaska Landmine studio. We're Election Central. Can you turn your camera or your microphone off, stop, please? Are we on? 5 assembly seats, 2 school board seats, and we're very excited to talk about the results, the races. We're going to have some candidate interviews, and some other folks are going to be stopping by. I'm very excited to be joined here in studio with Sarah Erkmann Ward.
Hey, Jeff.
From Blueprint, Alaska.
Yep.
Sabrena Combs.
Hi.
Palmer City Council. How you doing? I'm very happy you guys are here. We're going to have a great night. We're going to talk about these elections, these results, and
We're the bipartisan panel.
Right, you got the range here.
got my left and my right.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're expecting the results to be at around 8:30, maybe later, the first results, and it's a vote by mail. So what's going to happen is they're going to flash the results, and that's all we're going to have tonight.
Yeah.
And then more results will come in days to come. But we'll have a pretty good idea, I think, tonight of what's
Unless
going
we have any squeakers, which we'll see, but
Yeah.
It's really close, yeah.
It's not
So
not as fun as the good old days.
I want to start by thanking our sponsors, the Alaska Political Report, which is a business I run, and actually you guys are both subscribers to the Political
business
Report.
Oh.
Yes.
You sponsored yourself?
Yes, I did.
Oh, I love
well,
that.
They're separate entities.
Right.
Right?
I get that.
Do you guys like the Political Report? Is that a good?
I love the political report.
Yeah. No,
Yep.
it really does give amazingly good information.
Yeah.
So if you want to subscribe to the Political Report, you can go to akpoliticalreport.com or get a hold of me, and happy to talk to you about getting a subscription. GCI, who's providing this amazing internet, and these cups.
These cups, even better, right?
Yeah, the internet's so fast. We have the gigabit.
Oh, wow.
It's quite fast.
A gigabit.
It's really fast.
How much is that?
It's 1,000 megabits.
Wow.
And the upload's 50. So we love GCI. And then Cascadia Cross Border Law Group. My friend Margaret Stock. It's her immigration law firm here in Anchorage. And if you ever have any kind of immigration needs, personal or business or visas or whatever, she's world renowned. She won a MacArthur Foundation fellowship years ago, and she's really good immigration lawyer. So if you ever in need of any kind of immigration law services, get a hold of Cascadia Cross Border Law Group, Margaret Stock. We're going to start, which I'm sure Sabrena is really excited about.
It's tradition.
We've
How long have we been doing this? 5 years?
probably our third or fourth time with Hunky Lee.
Yeah.
This is my first, so.
You're in for a treat.
We're gonna go to Hunky Lee
Oh,
in
there
the
he is.
Valley. He's a U.S. Senate candidate, but he's
Oh,
also
the red solo cup.
Woohoo! He's
he's
from the
also
Valley.
he's also just a karaoke master. Hunky, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'd like you to go ahead and what are you gonna sing and tell us about it?
Oh, he's
and
going to sing?
Oh,
He's-
yeah.
it's what we
Oh,
do
no,
here.
no, yeah. This is a thing.
Yay!
All right. So, yeah, my name is Hunky Lee. I'm running for the United States Senate as an independent Alaskan in this year 2022. And thank you for having us, candidates, ladies and gentlemen in Alaska. And this song is for you. So it's my campaign song. Okay, I hope you enjoy it. I love myself. I want you to love me. When I feel down, I want you above me. I search myself. I want you to find me. I forget myself. I want you to remind me.
Love this.
Don't want anybody. When I think about you, I touch myself. Oh, I don't want.
Can we get a zoom in on Sarah's face?
I know. You're the one who makes me come running. You're the sun
No,
who
I
makes
need
me
you to understand.
shine.
Pretty
When
sure my
you're
parents are
around,
watching.
I'm always laughing. I want to make you mine. I close my eyes and see you before me. Think I'll die if you were to ignore me. A fool could see just how much I adore you. I get down my knees, I'll do anything for you. I don't want anybody else. When I think about you, I touch myself. Oh,
Okay.
I don't want anybody else.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no. Oh, no. Thanks, Hunky.
Hunky, that was just amazing.
Wow.
I haven't heard that song since like 1992.
Yeah.
That was awesome, Hunky. We really want to thank you. And again, Hunky, you're in the Valley and you're running for the U.S. Senate.
Yes, sir.
And we're really happy to have you here on Zoom. Next time, we'd love to have you maybe in person
Yeah.
for this thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you again for coming on, Hunky Lee.
Thanks for
and
putting yourself out there.
that was
Hunky.
an amazing rendition of "Touch Myself." Reminded me of Austin Powers.
Yeah. Or something.
Reminded me of high school.
Wow.
Quite amazing. Thank
All
you
right.
again, Hunky Lee.
Thanks,
Let's
Hunky.
Give him a round of
Thank
applause.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was amazing. Love that.
Great.
Okay, so I want to talk about we're gonna,
You're just
we're gonna
transitioning
transition
right
over.
there.
Need a moment.
Actually, Sarah, what do you think? It's your first time.
It's your
Well, I
first.
haven't heard that song in a long time, but as soon as he started singing it, I was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. But he seems delightful and very authentic, and I think he's.
Is that what he sang on Dan Fagan the other day?
No, it was a different song, I think.
I don't see Dan loving that song.
No, he actually did like it. He was pretty
okay.
excited
All
with
right.
Hunky's rendition of
Okay.
whatever. Last time he did a rendition of New York, but
New York, New York.
Alaska,
Oh, well, that's kind of cool.
which the syllables weren't as.
The
Right, you
syllables.
got to kind
line up
of
as much.
improvise a little bit, but
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
So let's go into the election.
Let's
and
talk about what we're here for.
what I think the big part of this election is there's 5 assembly seats up. Four of them are incumbents.
Right.
And the Eagle River seat is
Might as well be an incumbent, honestly.
is Crystal Kennedy's not running for
Right.
re-election, but Kevin Cross is running in a three-way race with Gretchen Wemhoff and Vanessa Stevens. Gretchen's raising money, Kevin's raising money, but it's a very conservative part of Anchorage, and Kevin's probably going to win that.
Kevin will win that race.
Yeah.
I think we can just declare him the winner, or I'm going to. Bold prediction: Kevin wins that race. Yeah.
So we have 2 other races, or 4 other races with incumbents: Cameron
Right.
Perez Verdilla, Forrest Dunbar, John Weddleton,
And Zolotel.
Meg Zolotel. And the big question is, if 2 of those seats change, the the progressive members on the assembly lose their supermajority.
Do you think there's even a chance of that?
Well, here, hold on a second. Pause. Does that count for the new 12th member of the assembly that's coming in? Or
Well,
is that the current 11-person makeup?
That's what the current 11. Now in June, there's going to be this election for the 12th.
So you'd actually, to pass anything, you have to get then 7, because if you get 6, like in the legislature, it's a tie and it fails.
Yes.
Right? So really,
That's a good question. What's the veto override
It would.
with 12 members?
I don't know what the override would be, but to pass legislation, you would need 7. So
Right now, to pass, it's 6.
6.
And then the veto override
I think
is
it's
8.
Is 8?
Yeah. And so the progressive kind of block on the assembly have
Is
9.
Right, they have it locked. They have it locked right now.
And the question is, if 2 of these seats change over, then it goes from 9 to 7. Now you're right. In June, there's going to be a 12th member, which they added.
For downtown, which we can assume will be a more progressive person, just given the makeup of
Right.
downtown Anchorage.
So let's go through some of these races.
yeah.
And
Let's talk about the landmine staff picks, because we're not staff, and so
You're not staff.
I'm
No,
not-
we're volunteers, just for the record, so
Yeah.
everybody knows.
these picks are not indicative
Oh,
of
okay.
necessarily what we were choosing.
And I have new ballot numbers if you want them.
How many?
Tell-
Yeah.
Ballots
Let's
cast.
start with that. Yeah.
44,360
Before today.
as of today. Is at least the last time
That's at least
magical
what we'll
unicorn
get
counted.
when.
What is it? 44 what?
360.
So that would be a 21% turnout so far.
So what are
That's not horrible.
That's not awful for a muni election.
No.
It's usually between like 20 and 25.
Right.
Unless it's like a big election.
Unless there's
a
some mayoral or
those are
some
higher.
crazy ballot measure or something. And we don't have that this time, obviously.
So we already talked about the Eagle River one, which almost
Sorry.
certainly, unless something really weird happens.
Yeah. Sorry. Congratulations, Kevin. Okay, I went to high school, Kevin, full disclosure. So I'm obviously partial to him anyway because he's just a great guy, but it's Eagle River.
He's very animated.
He is so... Okay.
You know this guy?
The same,
I had an opportunity to see all 3 candidates at the Chugiak Eagle River Chamber of Commerce luncheon. He's very animated.
He's
That's
very
exactly a
entertaining.
word I would use for him.
I'm
High
delighted,
energy.
Delighted that Anchorage is going to get to know him better because he is hysterical and very smart. So buckle up because he's going to be fun to watch.
We had a debate here in the studio a few weeks ago with all 3 candidates, and he was very, very high energy.
There you go. High energy.
So it's a
Your
good,
thing.
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the District 3 seat, West Anchorage, with incumbent Cameron Perez Verdilla. Liz Vasquez is the main challenger, conservative. And then there's this Niall Williams guy who's kind of a frequent flyer at the assembly meetings
Oh,
who hasn't raised any money.
like literally no money, like
$0.
$0.
$0.
Okay. All right.
He's not
We have
raising-
Liz kind of in the studio today.
We do. We have a cardboard cutout.
Why is that? Why?
If we have a debate and then you don't come to the
Oh, Okay.
we'll do a cardboard cutout.
Got it, okay.
Which Patrick over at AT Publishing loves when we don't have people show up because
Yeah, and it's a really nice photo of Liz. Like,
a great
she's
photo,
very
yeah.
pretty, and yeah, it's a great picture of her.
Yep.
guys, check this out. We're on the wide shot here. Of
Oh, there we are.
Look at that.
Oh,
There-
yeah,
there's
yeah,
Liz
there
and
it
Dave.
Mayor Bronson right over
There's
there in the corner.
Cardboard Dave there in the corner.
Yeah.
Which we
But
love,
isn't the studio beautiful?
love Mayor Bronson, but he didn't come to the debate last year, so we had to
Yeah.
Well,
do the cardboard
you know what?
cutout.
Worked out for him.
Now Liz ran against Cameron Perez Verdilla in 2019, and he got in a three-way race with Dustin Darden in there. He still got over half the vote.
Right.
And Liz is only raised 77,000 compared to Cameron's.
Is
100
Dustin not running this year?
Not in this race.
He's running for Senate, I think,
Unbelievable.
again.
He's going for U.S. Senate.
Right. He's
Yeah.
moving on to better things.
Ramping
yeah.
up.
Bless his heart.
I would say Liz got into this race pretty late by
Mm-hmm.
the standards of the other kind of conservative challengers. So I think if she had gotten
There
started,
she is, right there.
oh, there's Liz.
There she is.
If she had gotten started, I think she may have had a chance to raise some more money. But I think getting a little bit of a later start is going to be a little bit of a challenge for her. I don't know enough about that district to know how beloved Cameron is. But this is going to boil down to incumbent. How much of the mood of voters is throw the bums out and put somebody else in new across the board, not just in this race. So we're going to have to see how that bears out tonight.
I think a really strong conservative might have given Cameron
Mm-hmm.
a challenge. I just don't really see there's Cameron there on the screen.
Yep.
I just don't really see Liz getting in close with her. I mean, her campaign's been pretty lackluster.
Well, yeah, and late. But I've been at some events where she's been, and but again, those are fundraisers and such. I don't know about any door-to-door efforts and.
She's
all
really
those
good at going.
things.
She's really good
Yeah.
at going to the events where the donor people hang out.
Yeah,
At the
yeah.
Petroleum Club and restaurants and bars. Sabrina, what do you think about?
I mean, as a progressive, Cameron is one of the only Anchorage Assembly members that I don't think I've ever met him.
Oh.
I'm not sure I've ever seen him at an event that I've been to. Of course, I live in the Valley, but I've been to many Anchorage events, and he's just not a very well-known person in my realm. But he also seems like he hasn't created a lot of controversy either. So
Yeah,
He's-
I'd say that low drama, right?
he's very low drama.
Yeah.
He's been pretty quiet in this. So he came in here.
Right.
There's the map of West Anchorage.
I just think like during the whole I think back to like the mask mandates and everything that was happening with the assembly. His wasn't a name that was continually brought up.
He's pretty quiet in the assembly. He did come in here. Liz wouldn't come in for the debate, that's why we have the cardboard cutout. But we did a separate interview with him and then Niall Williams. And if you watch it, he was just I was really impressed with his knowledge of things.
Oh yeah, and he always seems very well spoken.
he just doesn't talk.
He does his research.
He just doesn't say much.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Obviously, a smart guy, just not
Yeah.
a firebrand, not gonna
Which is
light
fine.
the world on
There's
fire,
enough of that
maybe,
on the
but
assembly.
Maybe that's refreshing to voters at this point. Who knows?
I don't think he's for sure. He hasn't been looped up with like the Zolotel, Dunbar,
Right.
Felix Rivera, the progressives that are really the target
Right.
of the conservatives.
Right.
And we'll talk about the next one, the Meg Zolotel, Kathy Hen. Now this is one of the races where there's just two people.
Right.
The other
Yeah,
races have
right.
these third candidates who aren't raising any money, but they're still on the ballot. So
And you called this one a toss-up.
I did only because Kathy ran against Tuck in 2020, and she's raised more than Meg by about $50,000.
Right. Well, Meg just got off of having to raise a ton of money from her recall, so I'm sure that was a tough.
But-
Going back to those people to ask for more money,
But Meg beat the recall by 20 points.
I know.
So
Yep,
that's
right.
why for me it's like the conservatives have really, because Meg introduced she was the co-sponsor of the mask mandate in October, which
She's
was
been the chair of all these horrible meetings that have been awful. Kelly has worked her tail off.
Kathy.
Kathy, sorry.
Didn't work on the name ID too.
Right, yeah, no kidding, obviously. No, she's been, if she doesn't pull it off tonight, it will not be through lack of trying. Like, we all know those candidates who people like us know have just kind of phoned it in, right? Like, oh, I'll do a lit drop and maybe make some phone calls. Kathy Hensley has worked and worked and worked.
She has. And
Yeah.
I live in that district, and I've gotten a ton of mail from both of them. I've gotten not just mail, but like door hangers at the
Yep.
door from both campaigns. So it's been really. There's Meg Zolotel.
Well, and there
right
has to be some serious campaign fatigue for Meg. I mean, she's coming off the recall. That was 6 months of that almost.
Right.
It seems like.
Yeah.
Which I just want to real quick go into this. These recall. I came out against the Dunleavy recall back in 19, I said it's going to lead to these recalls on demand, which it has with this court decision. And Sabrena, if you want to talk about, I mean, they're trying to recall you and 2 other people in Palmer on the city council for you were in some Facebook group with some people, and they're trying to say it's an open meetings.
Yep.
And we have the Meg recall, the Felix recall.
It's what you do now when you don't like someone. It's the easy way. Rather than just putting your name on a ballot and running against someone, this is the easier way.
So now you're having to campaign, and this is coming up in a few weeks, right?
It's on the 19th, yeah.
Well, if you're in Palmer, folks, if you're anywhere in Alaska and you have one of these recalls, unless someone murdered somebody or is missing in action or was in the
embezzling
closet with,
money,
got
in the closet with the hooker,
envelope full of cash, right? Like, I hate recalls.
On camera, taking the money.
I hate recalls.
Yeah.
I think they're a waste of time.
The legislature really needs to redo this, clarify the language in the statute.
I agree.
And there should be.
Yeah, who will do that? But yes.
Who was the guy? Was it Virginia we talked about before? Who he was missing in action and he was hiking on Appalachia Trail.
Yeah.
Oh, with like his girlfriend? And he was like in South America or something?
I think he was in South America. And
Yeah.
he actually came back and became a senator.
Oh God.
Scott, what's the guy's name who just disappeared? He was missing in action on hiking, and I think he was in West Virginia or maybe South Carolina. South Carolina.
To be clear, he said he was hiking, and it turned out he was like on a beach with some girlfriend.
He was in Argentina.
Yeah.
But this is a recallable type.
Right. Okay.
When the governor is like missing in action, we have no idea where he is. He lies about his whereabouts.
Dereliction of duties. Like he left.
Yeah.
Okay. Recall appropriate, but
Right.
the recall of I disagree with your policy.
Yeah.
I have no patience.
I don't
for.
like you.
So
I'm going to recall you.
what are they saying? You were in some mom's group?
They're saying that we broke Open Meetings Act by four of us being in a Facebook group, but there's not a lot of.
Was it a mom's group?
It was called Matsu Moms for Social Justice. But in the same vein, I'm in a million Facebook groups because I like to be in tune with my community. So to say like that's where I make all my decisions is pretty false. So
Mark Sanford is the guy, Scott.
That's it.
That's why, and I want to thank our lovely producers. We have Scott, Jensen, Carolyn Hall, and we got Trent McNally, who's back. We actually used to work with.
I love Trent McNally. He's a genius, and so is Scott and Carolyn. You could not ask for a more talented group here.
So we have a whole team of folks here that are helping us with this live stream and this production, and obviously our viewers. We want to thank you for. And by the way, if you're watching this and you want to be deputized as a correspondent, we're looking for. I had somebody lined up and they kind of backed out. We're looking for somebody to go down to the election headquarters of the municipality in Ship Creek, and you can join us on Zoom and basically just tell us what's going on down there. Maybe get a shot of the outside if there's any campaigns down there. Anybody watching. Again, just message me or get a hold of me, and we're looking for someone to go down to the election headquarters in Ship Creek, and all you have to have is a phone, and you can join us via Zoom, and you can be like Hunky, maybe you can sing a song for us.
That's
as long
right.
as it's not Touch Myself.
And
that's one thing.
that
one was taken.
Yeah,
I didn't know what he was going to sing, and I thought that was pretty amazing.
it was something, wasn't it? Municipal clerk just tweeted. If you are on Twitter, it's a good thing to follow. There's a municipal clerk of Anchorage. There are just 10 more minutes to get your ballots in if you live in Anchorage. If you are waiting till the very last moment,
You have to go to the Dropbox.
you do
That's
have to
the
go to the
Dropbox.
Dropbox. Yep.
Or you can postmark it if it's postmarked by today at the post office.
So you'd have to be at the airport.
Drive that ballot down to the airport
Yeah.
post office and go in and say you need to hand cancel. Like I wouldn't just throw it into a mailbox at this point. Like you need to make sure it actually gets postmarked.
Yeah, I just told him, let's go.
Nick Kenchalo, which I call him, who's actually Alaska. What is it? Anchorage Remote Start and Sound.
A sponsor of the
Who
Land
sponsored one of our live stream events. If you need a remote start, you guys got to go to Anchorage Remote Start.
or
and Sound.
tinting.
If you're serious, head down there and we'll get you the Zoom link, and we'd love to have you
Be a correspondent, Nick.
Be a deputized kind of correspondent for us over there. It's right by if you're still at the office, he's downtown, isn't he?
He's back in Palmer right now. He just drives fast.
30 minutes from Palmer? Damn, troopers, watch out.
We're not encouraging speeding. We're not encouraging
He
speeding.
said, I lied, I'm not leaving the house.
Again, folks, if you want to head down to the election center and zoom in to
We need a
to
person.
us and give us
Just
a little
don't bring
update.
binoculars because they're illegal now.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't.
You remember
What?
at the election center?
I heard about the binoculars.
Yeah, and now didn't the assembly pass a whole bunch of a raft of election reforms, and you can't have binoculars in there anymore
But why?
because they were intimidating or something.
Oh, that's
Weird. I didn't know that.
Well,
missed
maybe
that
I'm
one.
crazy, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Wow.
So if I'm wrong, somebody in the comments tell me.
What if
but
you just
I
have
remember
really
this.
good vision? I mean, does that... Sorry, you're out of here.
Apparently, it's a trigger.
So again, getting back to the race. So 10 minutes for the Dropbox.
9 minutes now.
They're saying about 8:30, but in the past they said 8:30, but then it's been 9 o'clock or later. And what they're going to do, they're going to flash all the results one time. We're going to do a Chuck Todd type thing over there, I think.
Meaning you, for the record.
Yeah, I'm not
3
standing
people
up.
are not hovering over
We can,
that
we can
screen.
get 2.
Well,
But they're going to do the results, and whatever ballots have been tabulated as of, I think, probably, I don't know if they include today's ballots, probably the ones that have been through
at least-
yesterday.
I think,
Yeah.
okay, from my understanding last time, so again, people in the comments, if I get this wrong, let me know. They tabulate them as they come in, but they don't release them. So they're not like the state of Oregon. They tell you the result. The people in the
Really?
elections know the results as they're coming in.
See
Oh,
here,
wow.
the way they do it is they tabulate them in the machine, but they don't. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Exactly.
the actual results until they press the
Until
button.
they press the button. So I think that tonight the button gets pressed. So we should have.
That should be a
Really
like a
good
fundraiser where you get to be the person
Right. Who presses the button?
presses the button.
Great
And
fundraiser.
actually, we do have an expert here in studio. I don't know if this person wants to come on and tell us about the whole process.
Oh, right.
We
Yeah,
do have
we
an
do.
expert.
We do have an expert.
So actually,
Carolyn,
did all the
yeah.
education for the first vote by mail back in 2018.
She's
Right.
not listening.
Who's quite, she can hear me. I know
Carolyn's
she
like,
can.
no.
Carolyn, if you want to come on and give us a breakdown later on the vote by mail, that'd be great. And I got to say, the vote by mail with COVID, the ones that some of these cities and states adopted it very quickly and kind of haphazardly, I can understand the concern. Where Anchorage, they spent years setting it up. It's a system that was not just like overnight put
Right.
in place. It's very secure. The signature, the check of the signature.
I don't think it's that. Okay, I'm going to wade into the whole thing. I don't think it's that as much as the concern for people. I'm sure there are some folks who are concerned about like ballot integrity. It's more like how I heard a lot of people say they didn't get their ballots until very late this year. And that may not, I know supply chain being what it was, there was all kinds of issues with finding, just like the state is having a problem, finding paper to print ballots and then printing houses to get them out the door and getting them mailed out in time. But I heard a lot of complaints about,
I
where
heard-
the hell's my ballot?
I heard some people didn't get the ballots too.
Right.
I wonder how many. How many that is. I got mine.
I don't know.
Most
Mine
people I
was
know
late.
got theirs, but
I mean, I got it and I voted it immediately, so it wasn't a big deal. But if you're not a super voter, you're kind of more of a casual type of voter, does that make a difference? I have no idea.
I don't mind. I don't mind a vote by. Go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering what the process is in Anchorage. If you don't, you can go to
You can
division.
request another
You
one.
can just request,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Or you can go vote in person, correct?
Yeah.
You can go to they give you a ballot and you basically fill it out and
Yeah.
turn it into the box.
Right.
It's similar, yeah.
Like
vote in
early
person.
voting.
There
Okay.
is a remedy for it. It's
Okay.
just, we don't like to create barriers.
Right.
when-
I don't mind vote by mail, but I tell you what, I really prefer. I like
love
going
election
on the day and going to my
Yeah.
polling station. Or if I'm going to be out of town, you can do the early voting. I think the state does like 2 weeks before.
Yeah, 15 days.
So, I think going back would be very expensive and a big mess.
Yeah.
But there are some people that have talked about if they get on, the conservatives get a majority on the assembly. Some people have suggested going back to the
You know what
other.
would be the smarter thing to do would be to sync up city elections with the state. And that almost happened a couple of years ago.
Well, Chris
until-
Birch, when he was on the
Yeah.
assembly, really pushed for that.
Right.
That happened out in the valley. The borough
Right.
assembly races now coincide with the state races, and I will say it has the most major effect it has had is that now the municipal city elections get
Better turnout?
way lower turnout.
What?
Because they're in October, and
Oh.
so they're not.
Well,
So
and-
they're separate.
So city of Westella, city of Palmer, city of Houston, we still do our October elections. Like
Okay.
Anchorage does in April. It's a separate date.
The thing is, if you do them in October, November, that coincide with the state, the problem is there's so much going on. Senate races,
Yeah.
governor's races,
Right.
So
legislative races. So it's hard to punch through the noise
Yeah.
if you're running in some low. And I understand that argument. I mean, I really.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand it. I just
Yeah.
don't know that
There's
that's
definitely pros and
compelling enough
cons.
to have a separate election where you get 21% voter turnout. But
There's definitely arguments on
Yeah,
both
agreed.
sides. So, getting back to the Meg Cathy
oh yeah,
race.
that's right. We
well,
have an election tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's going to be close, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it went either way.
I'm gonna say Meg.
You're going to go Meg?
I think Kathy. I think she can pull it off. There's a big difference between a recall when you're running to keep your seat and actually running against an actual person, having an opponent. I'm going to lean Kathy on this one, but it will be tough because it's Midtown, and that's a tough district for somebody who is center right.
Well, let's go to the next race, District 5, East Anchorage.
Hands down.
What's that? Oh, we got Kathy on the screen. Yeah, just talk.
there she is.
Talk to me in the cool James Bond earpiece. Love that.
I thought you meant she was on. I was like,
what?
we're talking to her
She's
right
busy.
now?
We're live with Kathy. No,
But any candidates
yet.
that might be watching,
And
do
by
feel
the
free
way,
to-
if you're a candidate or if you're, dare I say, anybody that wants to come on and appear on the what's that? What do we got there?
we have a...
If you want to come on and appear on the live stream and tell us your thoughts about the election, or if you're working on a campaign, or if you have some thoughts, we can definitely get you the Zoom link. So get a hold of us and we'll get you that if you want to come on. But especially if you're a candidate or somebody working on a campaign.
And that includes, I would say, school board candidates.
Yes,
School board as well.
right?
We'll talk about those too.
Yeah.
So email Scott at Sabrena, can you put that in the
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Scott@jensenhall.com. If you're a person that wants to come on to the show, and we'll talk to you about what you think about some of these results and some of these races. We'd love to hear from you. And just give Scott an email, Scott@jensenhall.com, and we'll get you that Zoom link. Please don't Zoom bomb us. And, oh my God.
Yeah,
we're
my
gonna-
Oh, God,
it's gonna-
Spare
gross.
us if you're, yeah.
What are the odds we're going to get porn?
We
I
don't,
mean,
and also
pretty
don't
good.
email Scott porn.
The
He doesn't
Kenai
want it.
Peninsula Borough Assembly a couple years ago had a full-on
Yeah.
gay porn Zoom bomb in the middle of the meeting.
God,
Yeah.
and I thought touching myself was bad.
Poor what's her name? She was the president. She ran against Sarah Vance.
Yeah. I can't
I'm
think of her
blanking
name.
her name. She's a Homer lady, really nice lady.
Dustin Darden wants to come on.
She was just mortified.
Well,
And
yeah.
it was like 10 seconds of kind of rawness.
I would be kind of horrified too.
They have like they probably spent their COVID money the best on creating like the best Zoom like interactiveness
Yeah.
with a municipal assembly meeting. And so, it was not only there, but it was very well displayed for
What's her
everyone.
name? I'm trying to think of her name. She owns
don't know.
She owns these cabins in Homer. Really nice lady.
I don't know.
So going on to the District 5, the East Anchorage, this is Forrest Dunbar incumbent, Stephanie Taylor. This is an expensive race. They've raised
Lots of money.
combined
So much money.
almost $500,000.
Which is
450.
Can you
insane.
imagine? Think of all
That's
that
like a mayor's
money.
race,
Oh my God.
honestly.
$500,000.
Dunbar's raised.
And go Stephanie. Like,
Yeah.
when she first filed, I was like, okay, I vaguely know who she is.
That's Forrest there.
And she has
Well, there's Forrest.
crushed it in the
That's
fundraising.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's raised $260,000. She's raised $195,000.
$250,000.
That's a lot of cash I mean, I remember back in the day, like 2009, I worked for Mayor Dan for a couple of years, and a good amount of money to raise for like a normal competitive assembly seat was like $70,000.
Right.
Like that would be like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. I mean, now that would be like,
$250,000.
yeah, now you need to really, I mean, it's something else.
This is why. So Dunbar's obviously, he ran against Bronson last year. He narrowly lost. Even though there's so much money in this race, Dunbar, I mean, Taylor's ran a really good campaign, but Dunbar is really well known on East Anchorage, and he actually beat Bronson in those precincts.
Yeah.
Where he was, that he represented. Sure.
There's Stephanie.
Yeah. Boy, she
Conservative
is
challenger.
impressive. Have you gotten to, okay, so, I mean, I agree. It'll be tough, right? Forrest has been around. He's like part of the furniture in East Anchorage. But have you heard Stephanie speak?
Yeah, she was in here for the debate.
yeah.
We had a debate.
She is. I have never heard her speak before, and I was like, damn, woman, like, you should, like, good. I hope you wish you well for your assembly race, but, like, run for mayor or something in the future. Like, she was
Here's the East Anchorage, and if you go and check on the website, you can see go to the 2021 mayoral race, and you can see how much Dunbar beat Bronson in a lot of these precincts by. So while she's impressive and she's raised a lot of money, I just
Right.
There's the other guy in the race, Christopher Hall.
Did he come to your live stream?
He came to the live stream and he was wearing a cowboy hat and a gun.
Whoa.
So he's probably going to take votes from her.
Was he interesting?
Well, is he working? Is he doing
No,
anything?
he's raised no money. He's not.
Well, then, I mean,
But he's probably going to get a few percent, 1% maybe.
yeah, maybe.
And that's going to be her.
I will say, no matter what happens, Stephanie, we have not heard the last of her.
That's
Yeah,
good.
she kind of came out of nowhere.
She came out of nowhere, but she's going somewhere because she has really just crushed, just beyond expectations. I think she's just been a really great candidate.
So I just think because of his, name recognition there and his campaigning, and even though she's been campaigning really hard, I'd be kind of surprised if she won.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that neighborhood well enough, but if those are that's his district. He's been an assembly member there since Moses parted the Red Sea.
Yeah.
And it's 8:00, so if you're gonna try to drop a ballot off at
It's
the
too
drop
late.
box,
Go to the airport and ask
It's
the
too late.
postmaster to hand cancel your ballot, or your stamp it
Yeah.
postmark that sucker.
postmarked. Yeah.
Postmark
And then the
it.
last one is District 6, South Anchorage. This is John Weddleton, the incumbent, Randy Salt, who's also kind of a new candidate. Also an expensive race. Weddleton's raised 145 and Salt 160.
So is that why you picked Salt? Like, why do you think he's going to win?
I think Salt's going to win because Weddleton has been tried really. There's John on the screen. He's tried really hard to have an image of kind of not being a progressive, but he's been so aligned with the progressives on the assembly. And South Anchorage is a conservative place, and I've talked to so many people who voted for Weddleton who said they're voting for Salt just because they got frustrated with Weddleton. So I mean, this is just me talking to folks who live there.
I think Randy wins this one. And I live in this district, and I feel like I am part of the furniture on the hillside because I've been there since Moses part of the Red Sea.
There's Randy there. He's a good-looking,
yep,
quite a tall man.
Very tall, and he's also worked really, really hard. So again, not the candidate who's been phoning it in and not doing anything. He has worked really hard. I think John got a late start. I will say that. I don't know if John felt like he didn't need to work that hard, and I'm totally speculating. I do not know this. I don't know if he got some polling that showed, oh, maybe you actually need to step it up, because all of a sudden I felt like John started to campaign. But Randy's been working really hard, and I think you're right. I think people have kind of on the hillside have kind of figured out that John maybe is not the
Who's that?
the moderate we thought for years.
But
The nicest guy you'll ever meet, John Weddleton, nicest man.
by the way, the lady's name was Kelly Cooper, the Fairbanks.
Oh, thank
or
you.
the Kenai
See,
Peninsula Borough
I wouldn't know who that is.
Assembly person.
Yeah, I would
so.
never have thought that.
So we're
I
gonna-
once hit John Weddleton's daughter's car.
Oh,
She was our intern.
Hard?
I mean, yeah. It was in a parking lot.
Oh, okay.
She was our intern.
No
and I
injuries?
just
All right, well, folks, we're going to take a quick.
Sideswiped it.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to have some guests on here. We're going to talk about some of these races more. We're going to hopefully be getting some results here in the next 30 to 40 minutes. But we're going to take a quick break. I want to thank again our sponsors, the Alaska Political Report, which is another business of mine that you guys.
It's a newsletter you should be getting if you want to know what's going on.
That's a great endorsement. Thank you for
You're
that,
welcome.
Sarah. GCI, we love them. They're one of our big sponsors here.
I love GCI.
Great internet,
Yep.
really fast, and
I'm a ride or die for GCI my whole life.
cell phones. You need a cell
Everything.
phone,
Yep.
Call-
The whole line.
Call GCI.
Yep.
And then Cascadia Cross Border Law Group, my friend Margaret Stock. If you're ever in any kind of need of an immigration attorney for
Did
any
she
kind of
help
business.
you? Did she help with that situation that you did the story on?
Which one?
Remember those people that lived?
Bethel?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. Yes, she did. Yes.
I love that.
So
That had a
she's-
really happy ending.
If you have a business need for immigration or personal need for immigration, call Cascadia Cross Border Law Group, Margaret Stock, and she'll take care of you. So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back with some more guests and some more talk of these elections. And thanks for watching. We'll be right back.
Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hey, look at that.
There we are.
There's the wide shot.
White shot. We're back.
Okay, folks, we are back here live with Sabrena Combs and Sarah Erkmann Ward.
Hello.
Got that music still going. It sounds like a
I
kind of a
can't
wild
hear it.
elevator.
I can't hear it, but this is what I feel like we should be doing.
Sounds quite exciting. We're joined in the studio by Darren Colbrey, one of the candidates in the South Anchorage race.
Yep.
How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks. First time.
We missed you at the. Hold on one second. I'm still hearing this music, guys. I don't know if that's playing in the background or not. But
I can hear it too. It's like a piano
really
or something.
loud.
Yeah.
you're running the South Anchorage race. We missed you at the debate,
Yeah.
and we haven't heard you haven't raised much money or any money, I guess. But you're running. Tell us why you're running for the South Anchorage race.
Well, the reason why I'm running is I got tired of hearing them do lockdowns and mask mandates and not listening to the will of the voters and the people.
Have you been in politics before? Have you run for office before?
I
or-
ran for governor in the primary and the mayor's race too.
I recognize the name. Yeah.
Yep.
What do you have? What are your kind of thoughts? I mean, Weddleton and Salt have been raising a lot of money and campaigning. Really.
To me, I'm hoping really Randy wins and stuff this race because I think we need him on there to, kind of settle things down. And
Are you endorsing Randy, or are you still? I mean, the votes are closed now, so it doesn't matter.
yeah. I'm hoping, like I said, I'm hoping Randy wins.
So if you're hoping that he wins, why did you run?
Why I ran is really to try keep the votes from going to John Whittleton.
But you understand that will split
Yes.
Randy's votes.
Yeah.
Therefore, giving more of a chance for John Weddleton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where are you from? Are you from Alaska? or-
Yes, born and raised.
Wow, in Anchorage.
Yep. All my life, 45 years.
When you ran for mayor, you ran last time, right? You were in that big crowded field of 15.
Yes.
There were 15.
We
Wow.
15 in the first round, and then there was a
Jeez.
top two.
We have
Well,
a
actually,
comment saying that we lost sound. Can we just double check that we have
the,
sound? Maybe.
1 second here. I'm sorry about that.
I think we're fine.
I think we're fine. I think
Okay.
somebody just they're
Okay.
muted.
Yeah. I was in the mayor's race and stuff when they did it.
So have you? Now some candidates they've just kind of said we didn't want to raise any money.
Well,
wanted to
me, I didn't want to raise any money. I didn't want to take people's money, and I wanted to do it on my own. Show people that I could try to do it on my own. Use my own money for my campaign.
Have you done any door to door, any voter?
Yes, I did door hangers. I made up door hangers and signs and stuff, campaign signs, and I was going around in our neighborhood and up off of Rabbit Creek, down by Golden View Middle School, doing door hangers with my wife.
What part of South Anchorage do you live in?
I live in the Huffman Lake Otis area.
Okay. So you said you were frustrated with the lockdowns and some of the COVID stuff a couple years ago.
Yep.
Do you think are you hearing that from the voters? And
Yes. Yeah, they were pretty much telling me that they thought the mask mandates were way overboard, and they didn't wanted the choice to be for them if they wanted to wear a mask or not.
I'm with that.
I think that ship has sailed mostly for Anchorage at this point too, right? Like most people seem to be there at this.
I'm proudly
point in time.
I'm proudly pro-vax but anti-mask. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to wear the mask. Go
Oh
ahead.
no! If people want to wear a mask, knock yourself out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, that's how I felt and stuff. And then when they were throwing people out of the assembly when they were trying to voice their opinion on it.
Did you go to any of the mask mandate meetings?
I didn't,
took place?
but because I was kind of like staying away from a lot of people and stuff because of the COVID
Right.
and stuff. But I was still out there doing a little bit of things, but I wasn't out there around a lot of
I
people.
think you probably made the right choice. I mean, those meetings
Yeah.
were a bit off.
Like
off.
super spreaders events
Yeah.
too.
People died.
Yeah, right.
More than one.
Yeah.
Well, Darren,
But
I want to.
I did, for me, I did get vaccinated and stuff when the vaccination.
Me too. I got 3.
First,
Yeah.
when they first started and stuff with the vaccination, I waited to see which one would be better and stuff, and which one they would have less problems
Were you
with.
Pfizer or Moderna? What,
Pfizer.
I got Moderna. Team Moderna.
Yeah,
I'm Pfizer, all
I
the way.
took
Moderna.
Pfizer because
Apply for Moderna.
because I noticed it was a little bit more safer and stuff too, but also too Moderna is also safe.
I got a little
too.
worried about that J&J,
And
some of that stuff.
I know my brother, my older brother, he's a veteran of the Army. He was stationed over in Mannheim, Germany for 4 years, but he also caught the COVID-19 and it almost killed him.
Oof.
And
Oh, jeez.
and he was at the time thinking that this all was a hoax and
Oh,
stuff
dear.
with the COVID-19.
A lot of that, unfortunately, was going
Yeah.
around.
Right,
But, yeah, when-
that's too bad.
Yeah, when he caught it and found out, it changed his whole tune.
Oh, I bet.
And
Yeah.
so he got
Well, thanks for being
vaccinated
here.
after that.
Well, Darren, I want to thank you for coming on. Best of luck to you. The boxes are closed, so
And
we'll
thank you for your willingness to serve. That's,
and I know you won't hear the last from me because I know LaFrance will probably be
Just coming up, I think, next
coming
year.
up.
Yeah.
Yep, and I'm going to run for her seat.
Well, I appreciate you coming in, and
Yep.
good luck, best of luck to you, Darren
Okay,
Colbrey.
thank
you.
South Anchorage,
Yep.
Canada.
Yeah.
Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We have Jason Gren from Alaskans for Better Elections in the studio. We're going to talk to him about his take on the election, and then what the hell is happening with this whole situation with the special election. We're going to hear from Jason Gren pretty soon, so stay tuned for more updates from us, and we'll be right back. hear the music. Okay, folks, we are back. Very excited to be back here.
Very
Did we
excited.
time that well?
We did.
We're here with Jason Gren from Alaskans for Better Elections against Sabrena Combs, Sarah Erkmann Ward, myself, Jeff Landfield. Now, Jason, you're not really involved in the municipal election. It is an election, but you're doing elections, and we have a big election coming up in June.
Which
with a
was
special
just
election.
made recently much bigger.
And
Other than being a voter,
We need like a flow chart with like,
Yeah.
like Sharpies and
Yeah.
I can explain it in 10 seconds.
do it.
go.
We have a primary election. You vote for one person. Then we have a general election. You rank as many candidates up to 4 that you want.
Now that
Out.
general is going to be on the same
See you later.
ballot
Yes.
as the regular
Yes.
primary.
No, and luckily we have smart people. We have, the division elections is working with national experts and local people about ballot design to make sure that human psychology and how our mind works, the ballot is going to be perfectly tuned up so that when you get that ballot, it's going to say something on the top with instructions. It's
Ballot's
say,
going to be tuned up, he said.
it's going to, no, it really, I
I
mean,
think Alaskans are going to be able to.
yeah.
figure
But
it
you
Here's-
know, Jason, you talked about this at Alaska Municipal League, and you gave a really good comparison that ranked choice is something we do every single day because you will walk up to the coffee counter and you order a white chocolate mocha, and they say, "I'm out of white chocolate today."
No, then you have a
And so then
tantrum
you
and you throw your
no,
stuff at
and
the
then you
counter.
say, "Oh, okay,
Some
I'll have
might.
a mocha."
I had a lady friend turn me on to the breve lately. I
Oh,
love breve.
Yes.
See, this is how it gets
I love
confused
breve.
because people get off track.
I'm ranking breve number one.
But we do it every single day. There are things that we walk up to go get our favorite cereal, and we're out of that cereal, so we know exactly what our second choice is, and we're okay with it because it's our second choice.
My first is honey nut Cheerios.
So I've done about 150 presentations around the state in the last 9 months. We were
You
going.
could have had a baby by then.
I could have been more productive, maybe. No, but no. So we've been our group's
Ballot
been-
measure 2 is a baby.
We've been doing
did.
we've been doing
Yeah,
presentations around the state. We were in Kodiak last week. We're in Kenai next week. We've been in Juneau, Fairbanks, everywhere in between. And there's people who don't like it, which totally understand, totally get that. But the people who say I don't get it or explain to me how this works, I think that really is a low number of people, especially once they see the ballot or once you can kind of give an explanation of, or hey, you do this every day, or let me show you how it works. That percentage goes incredibly down once you get in front of people and talk about it. In concept, it can be kind of a complicated thing because it's new, because it's something that isn't the way we normally vote. But our experience, again, we were at Comfish. We were at commercial fishing conference in Kodiak, talking to people, fishermen, people in every walk of life, going, "Oh, the ballot, that's not that bad. I get that." What would you do first? What would you do second? Okay, then that. There you go.
Would you say it makes it a little bit more complicated when there's 50 candidates?
Well, luckily,
48,
luckily,
Just do
48. It's 48.
Yeah.
On the 50 person one, you hit one person
Yeah.
and you're finished.
I mean, we kind of in Anchorage we had 15 for the mayoral race, which wasn't 48, but it was still 15.
and
It was
you're
still a
seeing
lot.
the reason you're seeing municipalities move to ranked choice is because what just happened in our mayor's race was people go, "Whoa, there's too many choices. I want to rank these people." And so you're seeing cities move because then they have that instant runoff. They don't have to do that second race. So it saves money. It saves voter fatigue, things like that. Luckily, in this 48-person race we have in June, it is just one person. And we've even had people complain about that. I wish that was ranked choice voting. I wish that. Listen, it's really simple.
'Cause they wanna vote for
They want to vote
Santa
for. They want to vote for
and
Santa
someone.
and someone. They want to vote for John Coghill and Nick. I mean, it's.
I will admit, I'm gonna have a hard time picking that one person.
It's hard.
Yeah, right.
I've asked a lot of political insiders who they're going to vote for, and nobody's said any one name off the bat. They've all
it's
had
really
5.
hard.
I have 3 or 4 that I am perfectly comfortable with.
Right.
And that's what I think voters are going to find. They're going to end up voting for one.
Well,
But
you have to.
Exactly. In that top 4, there's going to be 1 or 2, maybe 3 people that you end up having some sort of preferential order for. And the difference, I ask voters now when they're saying this is too confusing, there's too many people. Like, we have too many good choices? Like, that's a bad thing? That means people are willing to step up. Great Alaskans are willing to kind of put their name and reputation on to do this. Now, you could argue in the special election, this is a little bit of a more legacy.
It's
There's
a little- yeah, right.
There's a
37
little more
of them
involved.
are totally pretty much unknown.
Sure.
Kind of not serious candidates, right?
But there was also people, if they were happy with the incumbent, why would you run? And now there is no incumbent, and there is an opportunity for someone to say, I can step up, I can do this. And that's why you're seeing so many great
We won't
names.
have 48 people run for the next time this seat is
No.
up, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. This is
But
a once in a lifetime.
In the old system, parties would have selected one person. Those names would have been on the ballot, and all of us would have had to pick one of the 5 or 6 people that the parties had selected. In this case, the candidates look like Alaskans. We have native, there's 4 native Alaskans running. There's the percentages that match up, the number of Democrats versus the number of Democrat voters match ups very well if you look at some of the demographics. So the ballot will actually look like Alaskans, which I think is actually pretty exciting, pretty cool thing that we get to do as voters. So it seems like a lot, and to your point, really there's about 10 or 12 serious people, but this is it's an exciting race. As complicated and maybe new and weird as it is, it's pretty exciting.
So I have something to say. So I will say it. My point, and so I've been talking to lots of Republicans about this who are still, by and large, not fans of ranked choice voting. But I think what is starting to happen is the realization that you can be mad at it all you want. It's still going to happen. Like, that is what your ballot is going to look like in 2022. So you need to learn how to work it, or you're going to not know how to vote, or your party is going to fail. So love it, hate it, learn how to deal with it.
And you're starting to see some of that strategic notions of, hey, I'll be your number 2.
Yeah, exactly. And I
starting
think
to
that's
see
going to be
it.
the fascinating thing is when the campaigns start to realize, like, maybe we should team up and do some strategizing.
Don't be pushing.
Yeah, and that to me is going to be like as fast. Could we get more fascinating than it is now? But think about like months from now when you're like, oh my gosh, look at them, they're doing an ad together. Like that kind of stuff is going to be so.
Or they can buy an ad on the Alaska Landmine website.
You know what? Every blog in this state will be.
Is there an opportunity to buy it out completely?
Sure, we have so much ad space available. So if you're looking to buy an ad for your campaign or your business, your organization, get a hold of us. Jason, so I want to go back to the assembly race now. We were talking about the statewide races. You actually, Liz Vasquez is running in West Anchorage against Cameron Perez-Verdilla, where you live.
Yeah.
She ran in 2019 against Perez-Verdilla. You beat her in 2016.
Correct.
So you live in that district. You're very familiar. Oh, right. I think Cameron's going to win. Liz has run a lot lately. What are your thoughts on this race?
Yeah.
You live there.
I think Liz has been in the ballot in my side of town, probably every ballot in the past 10 years. So I think name ID, people recognize that name and go, it's probably a pretty easy choice for them to go yes or no. They don't need to dig into her record. Cause they've seen every piece of mail. They've seen every debate that she ends up coming to. They see social media.
She didn't come to our debate.
She was all over the front page of ADN.com the last 2 days.
There was a lot of digital ads. Mm-hmm. She didn't come to the debates that I was part of when I was running. And I think at some point voters, you earn voters' trust you can lose trust pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. And if you do something or say something or don't end up at debates or you don't go door to door or you don't do some of the things that we expect, you can lose someone's trust, a voter's trust pretty quickly. Hard to earn that back. So I think for someone like Liz, who's ran over and over and over again, doesn't have a record because she hasn't been elected, so you can't say, well, here's how she's voted. I think at this point, her name ID is strong in the area because she's ran so many times and has had pretty out there campaigns. But I think in that race, Cameron is probably reflective of that district.
There it is, West Anchorage.
Yeah, if you look at that map.
That is a huge district.
Look at that airport.
Oh, it's the airport. Never mind.
But you have Turnagain, you have Sand Lake, Jewel Lake. Sand Lake, Jewel Lake is a purple, leans red district. It's very
Turnagain is blue.
And Turnagain's very blue. So I think in terms of someone who says I'm going to match up and team up with the mayor, that's a tough nut to crack in that part of town.
So do you have any predictions on this race?
I think Cameron will win. He won 50-40 last time, something like that.
He got half the vote, and there was a three-way race. Dustin Darden, who's on our Zoom, he got 9%.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced
He ran against you, and you ran against Liz, too,
he's ran against both times I ran. He was on the ballot. People
you
know.
Probably have more
9%?
Yeah, you probably have more. He got 10%. When against Grant, he was Independence Party, right?
He ran as a Democrat, and I think sometimes in low information voters
Guys,
is kind of
come on, voters, wake up.
Woo! He's about to be on, so it's going to be really great. You should tell him.
Let's talk to him. So
again, in that same vein, people know Dustin Darden. They either know who he is, or they
clearly they don't.
Or they don't.
It's alarming how many don't.
Yeah. Well, we have a population that turns over. My part of town, my part of town has a lot of the big subdivisions that have grown up in the last 10 years in Anchorage.
Like the gravel pit.
That's how I knew it growing up.
We used to go drive our 4x4.
Snow machining. We'd have bonfires in the gravel pit. Now
exactly.
It's incredibly nice homes and a great neighborhood. But 10 years ago, that didn't. 15 years ago, that didn't exist.
Literally didn't exist.
So you have newer people. And that's what's kind of turned that neighborhood, that part of town purple. Mm-hmm. But you have new people who maybe haven't heard of Dustin or, don't know they don't have their finger on the pulse of
What
what's
is
going on
this?
in the assembly races every
Matt
week.
Larkin has a stat about how much of the Alaska's not obviously just Anchorage, but the entire state population turns over every year, and it is staggering.
Alaska's one of the most transient states.
Yeah,
It's
and it's
insane.
military, it's oil and
Yeah.
gas, it's fishing, and all just, nobody knows.
So
what
I want
the
to say
hell's
we still have no results. They said around 8:30, but it could be.
Who knows?
It says unofficial
1 minute
election results are posted after 8:30 p.m. on election day. In the past, it's been up to 9 or 9:15. So
It better not be.
We will be giving all the results of these. And
As
again,
soon as it comes through.
just to explain it, the ballots come in the mail throughout the election or the drop boxes. They're processed, they're counted, they aren't tabulated, but the results are put into the computer, but nobody knows the results until they hit tabulate today. But all the ballots that came in as of today or yesterday don't get counted in this count. They get counted in future counts like tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. They're going to have updates. So we're going to have a big idea of these races, and unless they're really, really close, we'll probably know who are going to win most, if not all, of these races. Unless we have a very, very close race,
Right.
then then it's not going to be as known until we get more results in. Which ballots can still come in tomorrow and the next day because they have to be postmarked by today. All the ballots that have been dropped off today in the drop boxes are not going
I
to be
think
counted.
it's Friday. Is it Friday that they? What's the date that they?
That they count again, or we should.
In the past, they've done it every couple days. I think.
I know, but there's like a cutoff date where they're like.
I
this
know
is
the
day.
state law, as now I've become very in tune with mail-in
Tell
ballots
us.
and
Tell us
I
now.
thought we would have looked this up
Yeah.
before we came on, but oh well.
the experts
You
of
really
our
just
of our
glared at
trades
me.
all
I'm
here.
gonna look at it
I
right
should
here.
have looked this up.
I got it. I'm pulling up the PDF. We're all good.
I would encourage people, if you're interested in how the
And
ballot
just-
travels, the ballot
Okay.
security and ballot integrity
Yeah.
is pretty fascinating. If you ever are interested in this, the deputy clerk
April
and clerk's office, they do a great job of doing tours and such. It's kind of an amazing insight to the process that makes you actually, I feel, more confident in our system after doing an actual tour and watching a travel ballot round.
And
It's
I
pretty,
thought
it's pretty cool.
this year they did the whole alert system, so I got a little,
Yeah, no,
I got a
it's pretty
text message and an email. They're like, "Hey, Sarah, your ballot is in your mailbox," and then it was like, it's at the post office. And then today I got another text saying it's in the system and it's counted.
I need to check mine because I
was
turned
awesome.
mine in when I got back from Estonia.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Yikes.
Sabrina, you learned something here on the.
So
on the-
April 18th, Election Commission meeting and public session of canvass. The challenge ballots are that day, and all ballot envelopes except military and overseas envelopes must be received by the start of the canvass. So that's April 18th.
And again, we're gonna know here. It's 8:30. So at some point between now and the future, we're gonna get the update of the results, and we're gonna.
The future.
Now and the
Yeah.
future.
And you know what? There's another cool feature that I'm being reminded of. You know who you are. That if you want to get the unofficial election results texted to you in real time.
Oh, but we don't want them to do that. 'Cause
Oh.
They're going to
Oh,
tune
we-
into us.
We want to watch us here.
Yeah, we
Let her
don't want them
finish
to do
it.
that.
You can go to muni.org and figure it out.
While we're here, taking a quick shout out to our sponsors, the Alaska Political Report, which is a business I run that all three of you guys actually subscribe to in some
But
form.
you should tell more people more about what it is. It's
Yeah.
a
It's-
subscription-only based newsletter with
And it's not like
political
the
news that you
landmine.
don't get anywhere else.
It's not like the landmine. It's basically, if you're familiar with the old budget report, which was around for many years. It hasn't
Is it
been
not around anymore?
That stopped in about 2013. She sold it, and then it kind
The
of went away.
Bradners don't do it anymore?
The Bradners
No,
have the digest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's still around, but
Mike,
Like I still go through someone.
Tim still does it.
Someone is sending them from the ether. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
they still
sorry.
exist. Yeah.
we do all the calendars of all the commissioners, the governor. We break down the budget process. We track things that are happening in Juneau that nobody else is tracking. We look at the staff.
You
We
look at the
turnover.
APOC reports.
We look at the public disclosures, financial disclosures of public officials. We go into things that nobody's looking at, and we
I'll
find,
say
we find
this-
very interesting information.
I say this with love. It doesn't have your flavor on it. It's facts. It's not your opinion.
Kind of a little more factual, a little more boring.
It is very well
I mean,
written.
no, landmine's
very well
landmine's
written.
very factual. It's
No,
it's more,
that's
it's
not
more
what I
boring.
meant. I just meant that it's
Not as
not.
exciting.
It's
not-
not an opinion piece. It is literally like really good disseminated information that you can use to gain knowledge.
If you want to learn more information, go to akpoliticalreport.com or get a hold of me, and you can subscribe. It's $12.99 a year per organization. You can add multiple emails for your organization.
By $12.99 meaning
1,200.
$1,299.
Yeah, right.
Not
Let's be clear.
$12.99.
If you're a nonprofit or a government entity, we have a little bit lower pricing, but it's results are we're hearing results are in.
They
Whoa.
are. Here we go.
Okay, let's go.
Where? I don't see them. I don't see them.
I have them on mine.
Where-
All right.
here we go.
So
Let's go. Good Lord, guys. Live, breaking, we have the results, the first round of results coming in.
Assembly District 2, Seat A. Currently, Kevin Cross is winning 3,510 against Gretchen Wemhoff at 2,097. Vanessa Stevens coming in with about 300 votes.
So that's like 60-35.
No, again, this is only 14% turnout, so
60-35, yes.
6,000, this is pretty low
Yes,
turnout so far.
pretty low turnout.
There's more ballots are going to come
Assembly
in.
District 3, Seat D. Cameron Perez Verdia has the lead of almost 55% at 4,040 votes to Liz Vasquez, almost 3,000 votes.
Massive lead. We
Yes.
called that one.
Massive lead. Assembly District 4, Meg Zalatel leading with 54% of the vote, about 3,500 votes, over Kathleen Hensley at about 3,000 votes, so 54% to 46%. Assembly District 5,
wow.
Stephanie Taylor with 40% of the vote, and Forrest Dunbar with 56% of
Forrest
the vote.
massacred that.
Yeah,
That's
Forrest
way more than I thought.
killed it.
Wow.
And look at how close the Weddleton Randy race is.
And
Look, our boy Darren got almost 2%.
That's
So,
That's Randy.
Yes.
Those are Randy votes, by the way. Those
Yeah.
are Randy votes.
he understood that though.
He did.
He
apparently
kind of
understand
did.
that.
He called that.
yeah, so what we're talking about here is that there's less than 1%, or about just over 1% difference between John Weddleton and Randy Solt.
Can I just say something real quick? The landmine fucking called this.
And Darren
Pretty
Colbrey,
accurate.
5 for
who
5.
sat here
Well,
and
we
endorsed
paused up on Meg and
that's true.
Kathy, but
Randy, or Darren kind of endorsed Randy, has taken just almost 2% of the vote, which would have definitely gone to Randy. So this just shows
Darren actually said
how important it is to
Think
think
bef-
about what you're doing.
Think before you file.
Think about what you're doing.
that. Can we just go through the results?
Now with ranked choice voting, I'm just joking.
Oh, there it is.
Should we
Yeah.
just,
Go-
is
go-
there
go-
school board in
Yes.
here?
Can we try the Chuck Todd, Scott?
So while you do that, we haven't even talked about school board, but they are up right now. If you want to,
I'm gonna go.
if you meander over to Chuck Todd while he
gonna
gets
try
that ready.
this.
School board seat A. Margot Bellamy is currently winning with 50% of the vote, 19,307, over Mark Anthony Cox at 14,500 votes. Cliff Murray came in with about 8.5%.
And he's the one who dropped out, but he
hop
was
off here.
still.
He did drop
gonna-
out,
He
yeah.
was still on the ballot because he dropped out.
I'm
too
going to
late.
skip the road
took
service
Scott?
area ones right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip over all of these land service areas and get
Oh my
back
gosh,
to,
yeah, the
there's
Lursas,
so
geez.
many. Oh my God,
know. You
Lursas.
live
Hey,
in one of
for
those?
those that are like
I don't-
out
oh, yeah, I
there
do.
running for your Lursas, congratulations. I mean,
Yeah,
that's,
and
it's
thank
a
you.
lot. Thank
Yeah,
you for doing
people who
it.
do that.
I don't know where the other school board one is. Did I miss it entirely?
There's 2 races for school board.
Yeah, for some reason it's, there's
There
the other
it
one. I'm
is.
sorry.
There-
Kelly Lessons
Sarah, there you
is
go.
winning
Dustin
with
Darden.
19,575.
Oh, yeah, look at
Dustin Darden taking about 5% of the vote. Rachel Rees at 15,515, 40%. So Kelly is handedly winning that one.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I will scroll down to the ballot, the propositions. Let's see. Proposition 1, capital improvements for Anchorage School District bonds, is very narrowly ahead with 50% of the vote versus 49% of the
Oh,
vote.
wow.
So 20,506 to 20,360. So that very well may not pass. Proposition 2, area-wide facilities capital improvement, almost exactly the same, 50 to 49%. Proposition 3 is the only one with a pretty marginal or pretty large lead.
Is that like fire?
That's the public safety.
Yeah, people always.
Yeah.
Yep.
So 22,000 to 18,000. So that's the only one that has a handed lead. The other 2 are neck and neck.
Let's go back to the assembly. I'm gonna Chuck Todd this thing here, folks.
Chuck Todd it.
For a second.
Do you have a pen?
Am I the one? Is it
I don't-
yours?
You
Is
have
it
a
yours?
pointer?
Wait. No. They're gonna.
Yeah,
take
if we
care
can
of
just
it.
scroll right up to the top.
We're gonna Chuck Todd this thing. Start
Really
at the top.
quickly, the text message from the city just came in, so that's a little behind their
We
muni
got-
elections.
We got it way before. So we're just gonna-
Yeah.
Guys, we're not.
don't get my
we're
text
not.
every-
We're not so financed yet where I can afford the iPad and the Chuck Todd situation, but we're gonna go through this. So let's go. I'm gonna have to have my guy move.
You don't even get to.
Move the
If
screen.
Scott
We need to go up
could
a little bit
scroll,
too.
there
Okay,
we
Assembly District 2. Okay, this is Assembly District 2. Can you hear me? Am I not sounding?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can hear you.
Okay. This is the Eagle River Chugiak seat. Kevin Cross, obviously, huge win here, 59% to 35.5%. It's only 14% turnout, but
No chance of.
But I mean, this is
comeback.
which
Hold on,
we.
real quick, when it says times cast, so that's 6,000 votes out of 41,000, but that's not just.
That's for that district.
That's for just that district.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let's move down here to District 3, the the West End. We need to get the Chuck Todd screen where I can
Yeah.
where I can control it with my.
Who's back there doing it for you?
Somebody's back there. So we got Cameron Perez-Verdia, over half the vote, well over half the vote.
He has
54%. We actually have
very
Niall
much
Williams in studio. We're gonna talk to him pretty soon. 5%, and Liz Vasquez at 40% with 17% turnout so far. Again, these results are going to go up as more ballots come in. Let's head down to District 4. Look at how well that's working.
That's great.
This is the Midtown Anchorage race. This is one we thought might have been close, and it's actually not that close right now. Vig Zaltel's well ahead at 53% to 46 with 15% of the vote turned in. So and unless Kathy gets a whole bunch of votes coming in, it's very, very likely that Meg's going to win that win re-election. District 5, East Anchorage. This one, a lot of people thought was going to be close, but Forrest Dunbar in a three-way race with over 55% of the vote. To Stephanie Taylor's 40% of the vote. This race cost $450,000 between both candidates.
Wow.
And
$500,000.
Christopher Hall, almost more than 2.5%. That would have gone to Taylor, but even in the case, it wouldn't matter. I mean, Forrest Dunbar well over 55% of the vote here, with 17% of the votes turnout so far. And then District 6, South Anchorage, very close. We actually had Darren Colbrey in studio earlier. He's at almost 2%.
Taking it away.
Randy's up by, less than, what is it, 48? About 1%.
Yeah, 153 votes.
So it's just,
So this one
wow.
honestly could. This is
one
one that
is
could
anything,
change.
yeah.
In the coming days.
What I've learned here is I need to get like an iPad and like a $5,000 TV that I can draw on, like Chuck Todd.
Yeah,
right.
You
And then
put things into the categories.
We're gonna do that later. We're gonna move the precincts around.
your sponsorship.
We're gonna do that later with your sponsorship. So
Wow. But that's the only one that's close. I mean, if we're looking at these results, that is the only race that is very close.
Darren totally called that.
He
by
did.
the way,
And like,
he forecasted the fact that he was taking votes away from.
did he or
Well, he-
did I point it out?
He acknowledged it. He did acknowledge
He's
that.
quite aware of how that was going to go.
Wow. Because honestly, he is. Can anyone who voted for Darren say that they would have voted for John instead?
Let's go find those 186
Let's go
people
find
and
them.
ask them.
And this is why some of these races sometimes, every vote does.
Yeah.
Not always, but sometimes,
Yeah.
especially in what'd you win your first race by, Sabrina?
8 votes.
8 votes.
8 votes.
Well, and then there's always the legendary coin tosses that have actually happened.
Bryce Edgman won in 2006's race
For state
literally by a
legislature.
coin toss.
Yeah. In state legislature.
It was a tie.
Jason can't help himself. Ranked choice voting would have solved that.
Great choice voting, guys!
You never have to choose the lesser of the evils. You never have to split a vote or worry about any of that. There are benefits, and I think that's why, again, I mentioned that municipalities are doing it because of the reasons we're kind of seeing, especially in a mayor's race, has 15 people. It has its benefits. It's not for everyone, but
Well,
it
there
has
would
its
be a
benefits.
tie still, but is that state law is still a coin
Yeah,
toss,
so
right? With a
If
Yeah,
in
it
a four-way
is, yeah.
race, if the bottom, the last place candidate, there's a tie, it's the same way. It's by casting lots.
Casting lots.
Casting lots.
I think that's how it's
Casting
termed.
lots.
in-
Sounds like under the Tower of Babel.
It's a game. It's a
No,
game.
you can pull a name out of a hat.
It's called a game of lot, right?
Yeah, it is. It
Who
says it in our
gets to
state
decide
statute.
what the
I know,
game
it just
is?
I think the
sounds-
candidates
I know.
can decide.
When I-
The
Candidates?
language is very
So it could be
funny.
like
It is
1, 2,
very-
3, shoot.
I think the candidates can
Yeah.
decide.
You can pull you can pull it out of a hat. You can do a
God,
coin
I
flip.
want this to
There's a
happen.
number of yes.
Could it be
Guys,
big rock,
what
scissors?
I want to real quick talk about here is.
Leg wrestling.
Leg wrestling.
Oh my God.
Leg wrestling.
Oh, I'm the champion. I'm the champion.
I'm not
If we ever tie in a race, that's how we'll
We'll
determine.
leg
those.
wrestle. We'll do it right now. We'll do it right there on the
Feats of
floor.
strength.
If we leg wrestle, that's going to get a lot of the views are going to skyrocket. What I want to talk about, guys, real quick is Mayor Bronson and the Conservatives went. I mean, Fagan and Suzanne Downing and all these. They went so hard, and they have lost. I mean, maybe Salt, wins that one, but even in that case,
That's not enough
The
to
Conservatives
overturn
or
the
the Progressives are
supermajority.
going to hold their supermajority, and this next year again is going to be more contentious. I mean, some of the debates we had, people like Zolotel and Dunbar had said, we're working with the mayor on his homelessness, we're working with the mayor, but then the mayor calls up to Dan Fagan and he goes, I'm not working with any of them, I'm suing them, and
Yeah.
so he's not, in his mind, working with them. They're trying to, I think, maybe appeal to a certain base, but this next year is, again, going to be,
But now maybe
Quite-
we can get on with the business of
That's
running the
my
city.
hope. My
Just
hope
let's-
springs eternal,
Yeah.
right?
Let's get on with moving
let's
ahead.
start trying to all work and get some solve some
There's
problems.
campaign season.
and then there's
Now-
governing.
and it's over, and now we need
Right.
to move on to
Let's-
governing, and that's where you get to show who you are. And I think
Right.
again, hopefully now everyone says we can move on,
Right.
And we,
I think this is voters are, it's calmed down. COVID is it's essentially in the rearview mirror, and it's time to move on to actually doing some things
is
in the
that?
city.
Somebody watching the live stream in here?
If this election happens 5 months ago,
Right.
maybe you see
Right,
something
right.
different. But to your point, yeah, with mask mandates gone and a few
I mean-
other kind of
Getting
changes.
back to normal.
Yeah,
We need
it-
to just
it-
get back
yeah.
to normal.
If you're in the conservative ecosphere, and I listen to Dan Fagan and Mike Picaro, and if you listen to this stuff, you would think that every progressive member was going to lose by 20 points, and they're in a weird kind of echo chamber.
That'll be interesting to see how that informs. I mean, we have 39 out of 40 legislative seats up in November. I wonder if that will change the.
No, 49 out of 60.
59,
59 out of 60.
Thank you.
40 out of 40.
I'm thinking of just the House.
19 out of
I
20.
wonder if that will temper anything. Like maybe we should think more broadly about where people's headspace is at.
I
but-
would love that. Thinking
But-
more broadly is
But this is
excellent,
Anchorage
yeah.
only as well, right? Like Anchorage is not the world. It's not the state, but
No, it's a cultural center of
right.
Alaska, right?
Sure,
I mean, it's
of
really
course.
kind of where all the.
But it leans
No,
far
that was a
more
joke.
progressive than.
I was trying to make a
Anywhere
joke.
else.
well, I mean, we're the largest city for sure, but I mean,
Let's go through the results one more time,
Yeah.
then we're going to take a break. We have Niall Williams in studio,
Okay.
who's a candidate for West Anchorage. Let's go through one more time. Should I chuck? I'm not going to Chuck Todd it again. That was.
I don't think you need
awkward.
to.
That was-
You have to be able to Chuck Todd it if you're going to Chuck Todd it. And you
You
can't
should have
Chuck
worn
Todd it.
fancier
You're going to Chuck
pants.
Todd. You got to go full Chuck
How
Todd.
much Chuck
Yeah.
could a Chuck Todd?
Oh, I love
Just
it.
Okay,
Stop.
let's go through the
Okay,
results
Assembly
again.
Family
District
show.
Throw them on the
2.
screen, guys. We have Eagle River Chugia, Kevin Cross, up almost 60%.
Yep.
That he's
It's
gonna-
Eagle River, guys.
He's
going
we
to
knew
win.
that was going to happen.
What a change, though, from Crystal Kennedy,
Oh
right?
my gosh, you guys! I'm
Like-
telling you, we're
like
in
what
for such
a
It's going to be very
Change.
animated going forward on the assembly.
So
What
funny.
a change.
And he's such an artist.
He's also a sweater.
He's an artist, yes.
Not like a, wears a sweater, but
Right, like he's
perspirates.
sweat.
Yeah. No, I mean, we all do.
What type of artist is he? I'm just,
He
never-
put-
never-
he-
can
Oh,
compose
yeah.
music.
He did a
Music.
parody of
Rocket
an
Man.
Rocket Man about about Berkowitz,
Yeah.
and he deleted it.
Which is
Did he?
He took it off YouTube. It was actually amazing.
But he will. I've been his
Okay.
Facebook friend for years.
Sorry,
and
no,
he just
I
composes
I have
music
not paid
out of
attention to
nowhere.
that.
He's very
I didn't see
talented.
that either.
Cameron
that's
Perez
great.
Verdilla, West Anchorage.
Winning.
Almost.
You said it was going to be neck and neck,
No, I didn't.
didn't you?
We said Cameron Perez. No, we said pull it up.
I don't.
You said.
We are going with Perez Verdilla.
Okay, you're right. I'm
Call that
sorry.
one.
You're right. I'm sorry.
We're going to
God.
Midtown Anchorage, Zolotel Hensley.
That's a
Zolotel, 53% of the vote, over 53%
This one
of
you
the
said
vote.
was a toss-up, and it's not.
Well, there's more votes coming in. I mean, it's not super.
Really? Okay.
I wasn't sure. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to. We called Dunbar. A lot of
Oh,
people.
man.
Remember, Sarah? A lot of people thought this was going to be because so much money,
I thought it'd be
$450,000.
It is not close.
I thought it would be closer than this. I have to admit, just
that's
because
so much
Stephanie has
money.
been such an enthusiastic campaigner.
But Chris Hall, bless his heart, 201 votes.
2.69%.
I maintain we have not seen the end
And then
of
we
Stephanie.
have the South Anchorage where we had Darren Colbrey in earlier. Salt's up by about 1%.
Gosh.
48. Yeah, a little over a percent.
1.5. Unreal. And Darren Colbrey taking 1.73. How about that?
That's going to be one of the ones we're not going to know.
Yeah,
for,
right.
A lot
That's
more votes are coming
absolutely
in.
true.
So,
Yeah.
folks, let's
And
go
then
back to the school board real
School
quick
board,
too.
we have two. Margot Bellamy is winning 50% to 37%.
And she's the incumbent.
And school board chair president.
Yep.
And Kelly Lessons, also the
Also the
incumbent,
incumbent.
is winning.
Yeah.
They have one.
So these
I'm
aren't
gonna
even,
call
these
it.
aren't even close. We're going to call these ones.
And then the propositions, the first two, 1 and 2, are neck and neck and may or may
Oh
not.
yeah, whatever. I don't think.
Okay, we don't care about
Are
that.
these
Well,
bo- yeah,
actually,
well,
that is interesting because the advertising I heard for
They're like,
I
we
think the
haven't
main-
done school bonds in
they're
a while,
like,
and now we
if
are.
we get this school bond, we won't do one next year, which I
Right.
thought was a really interesting approach.
It was.
But I think this just shows me that people really are fiscally concerned with inflation
yeah,
and
it's literally
high
like
gas prices.
a 0.5% difference.
Yeah, people are feeling it because
Yeah.
normally these things don't have as much of a challenge.
Yeah.
Rarely are they turned
yeah,
down.
and it's only
they're all really close, aren't they?
well, the school bonds and the capital improvement bonds are very close. Public safety will win.
Public safety always
Roads
wins.
and drainage will win.
Everybody wants a freaking road
Parks
to drain.
and Rec will
I
win.
think after this year, I was surprised. I thought the roads and drainage one would just smash it after the road concerns and parking lot
God,
concerns.
yeah,
and drainage.
right,
We had
right.
people vote. I
It's
mean, because that's like something you
61
can.
to
It's
30.
like
You
that
can see
tangible.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's what,
Yeah.
at your school sometimes you don't realize what's going on at a school or a
Right.
school across town, but in your own road, in your neighborhood, you can kind of see that.
And there's a couple of really weird ones, like
Yeah.
Proposition 8 approving de-annexation of something
But
lot.
those were only for very, look, only 325
yeah, but
people
they
were allowed
passed
to vote on it.
85%.
Yeah, because like 325
88.
people
This is,
are like,
guys,
yeah.
this is where it's the most local.
That's
is.
like
Where it's the most
barking
local.
dogs after midnight kind of government.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break. We've got these results, and we're gonna talk about them some more. We're gonna take a quick break. We have Niall Williams, a West Anchorage candidate, here in studio.
And thanks to Jason for being
And
here.
thank you, Jason Grant, for being
Always.
here.
Yes.
Alaskans for Better Elections. You guys have your work cut out for you.
Yes,
You're gonna do great.
we're excited to do the work. In fact, it's a passion because we get to talk to every Alaskan about something that's so important, voting. And it's something that we feel Alaska is kind of leading the nation in, or at least can be looked at an example. Again, like it or not, this is the law of our land, and this is how we're conducting elections. So we want every Alaskan to feel inspired and confident when they use their ballot this year. We're using it a little sooner than we thought we would.
And we have Santa on the ballot.
And there's
Few
Santa on the ballot.
few months sooner.
I mean, if you are into politics, if you're a political scientist or in academia
This
or
is
in a
amazing.
campaign manager, Alaska is really, in a lot of intents and purposes, the center of U.S. politics for the next 10 months, which is
Thanks,
fun.
Sarah.
Between Sarah Palin and Santa Claus, and Lisa Murkowski,
there's
and
no lack
all
of
it, it's
stories
gonna
or interesting things, and we just encourage, again, Alaskans to, again, like it or love it. Please understand it
happening.
so that you as a voter can do informed
Yep.
ways
That's
of
like
voting.
Cold
So,
Stone. Like it, love it, gotta have it.
gotta have it.
Just like Cold Stone.
Gotta have it.
Oh,
Jason-
that's their sizing,
Yes, you
right?
gotta
Like
have
it,
it.
love it, diabetes.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that?
Bad
It's
health.
like literally the most amount of ice cream. Okay, anyway.
I like how they make it with the little like the on the marble and the.
Yeah.
They make you feel like it's like.
Ooh, it's
Yeah, oh my
custom
God,
made
yeah.
just for
Anyway,
me.
thanks for
Okay.
being here.
That's how I feel
Grant.
about voting. That's how excited people are for Cold Stone. We want people
Like
to be
it,
that
love it.
excited for
Gotta
voting.
have it.
That's what we want. We'll get there.
Guys loves the voting over here.
Cheers. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Jason
Thanks,
Grant.
Jason.
We'll be right back.
We're going to be right back with Niall Williams. Folks, again, I want to thank our sponsors, Alaska Political Report, GCI, Cascadia Cross Border Law Group. We'll be right back.
Hi, we're
Okay,
back.
folks, we are back. We were going to go to Niall Williams, who's in studio, and I can still hear the music, guys, on the producer level. There it is. Thank God. It's just like it's weird Christmas. It's weird. It's weird.
so
It's
rude.
weird Christmassy. It's just hard to talk in the music.
We'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live. We have Niall Williams in studio. We're gonna go to him in a second, but we have Forrest Dunbar who's gonna come on via Zoom, and we're very excited to talk to him. I wish he would be here in person. Forrest,
are we going to call
Forrest,
it
how you
for him?
doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Of course we can.
Okay, great.
I want to
Yeah, I'm
start.
doing well.
Let's start about how you're not at a celebration party
Are
right
you in a
now.
bunker?
Yeah, are the Democrats? Are you guys partying, or the Republicans having a big party?
Yeah, actually, well, through that door, there's a number of people and some Lucky Wishbone chicken and some tacos and
That's so
Yeah.
Alaskan
Wow.
of you.
campaign team and just a little bit more like friends and family though.
Yeah, Forrest, you are handedly winning at 56% of the vote versus 40% for Stephanie. Thoughts?
I think it'll tighten a bit. In the mayoral, we were about tied at this point. We were up by like 0.4 or 0.1 rather, and then it ended up swinging by about 1.4%. And so I would guess that it's going to tighten a bit, but I think that's probably a lead that's too large for Stephanie to overcome.
Now, Forrest, as I'm sure you're aware, the conservative sphere, talk radio, Dan Fagan, Mike Piccaro, and Suzanne Downing have just really went after you, and there's been this big kind of target on your back, a lot of money in the race, and if you listen to the conservative sphere, you think, oh, there's no way, you can win, and now you're up by 16 points, right?
Yeah.
Did I count that right? I'm going to need to look at the results again. But
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So a huge margin. I mean, it's so out of the realm or difference of what the conservative sphere has been saying the last several months. I mean, what are your kind of thoughts about that, and why do you think you've done so well?
Well, we've been out knocking on doors for the last 5 months, me and my team, and I think we were pretty confident going into tonight that we would win. I thought it would be closer, but. No, I mean, it's just, how these things happen. Axiom is not a local firm, and, you get these kind of epistemically closed bubbles like talk radio, and they have a certain narrative, but they're not going door to door in the district. And if you were to go around the district, you'd see that in terms of, yard signs, we had about parity, big signs, we had about parity. And if they were actually having conversations with folks, that they would see that too. And, I think we both turned out our base, and then we were working really hard to reach out to nonpartisans and undeclareds and people that don't consume a lot of must read Alaska.
So you won East Anchorage against Bronson, but by about less than 5%.
I think it was only 3%. Yeah, 3 or 3.5.
And now this is much larger. What do you attribute that to? Why was it so much closer in the mayoral race?
Well, I was joking with my team that maybe this means that the mayoral race was illegitimate, right? We should go back and do it.
Oh, jeez.
But no, I'm not gonna be like Donald Trump and say, oh, it's very suspicious that now all these results are so different. No, I mean, I think what happened was they had a tremendous amount of money. They dumped a lot of money in at the end. They had a lot of people fired up, and they got a lot of sort of first-time voters and people who didn't vote in the first round. They voted mostly based on COVID and the health restrictions, or the health mandates rather, on COVID, and that was the margin, no question. And we did win East Anchorage. We won East Anchorage, Midtown, West Anchorage, and downtown. I think part of the reason that you're seeing these results across the board, and John Weddleton may or may not prevail, but even if he doesn't, he's much closer. His margin is much narrower than mine in that district. And I think what it speaks to is, Bronson ran this campaign during the runoff that was like, oh, I'm just a center-right guy, and it's all about COVID and new direction. And then when he actually came in and started governing, people realized, I can't tell you how many people I talked to at the door that said, I really regret voting for Bronson. I had one woman almost break down in tears, being like, I can't believe I voted for him. I'm so sorry. And so I think part of it is he made this race about him. You saw him out sign waving. You saw Open for Business with Bronson. You saw all this money. And because of that, I think, you saw these results in a number of different districts, not just mine, because he is deeply unpopular right now.
Forrest, you raised $250,000 for an assembly seat, and we saw almost $500,000 for this single seat in Anchorage. What does that say to you about the future of politics in Anchorage? That's an amazing amount of money for an assembly seat.
I think it's a message to the legislature to put in campaign finance, a new campaign finance law, because it's not just if I hadn't raised that much, I think Stephanie would have been a record-setting amount, right? Maybe the most ever raised in an assembly race with $200,000. And so it just brought a tremendous amount of money into the race. And part of it, was clear that so Bronson was coordinating with folks and raising money for her and using his list that he had created during the mayoral race. And then I had my own list that had been made during the mayor's race. And so you just had those two lists kind of go up against each other, and that's why you saw so much money come in. I hope that this normalizes. I hope that but I hope that the races in general go back to more how they were before COVID, before the Republican Party decided to nationalize these assembly races, and before you saw this much money coming into the races. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe we've sort of crossed the Rubicon and we can never go back. But I would like things to go back to. My first race in 2016, I raised $83,000 for an assembly race, and that was considered quite a lot of money at the time.
Yeah.
And I think it would be better for everyone if we went back to something a little more similar to that. But
Sarah?
I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, so my question for you, Forrest, would be, hopefully in the next couple days, the results are clear and the rhetoric kind of dies down for everybody. I'm sure you're eager to kind of move on to just getting on with the business of the city. What are you most looking forward to, or like what is that vision for you as you're on you've got Mayor Bronson, you've got some new assembly members, but what do you want to do? Like, what's your focus?
So I'm hoping this is a message to Mayor Bronson that he can't govern from the extreme, that his extreme approach has been rejected by the people of Anchorage, and he will moderate and work with the assembly instead of trying to attack us all the time. That would be the most positive outcome from this. If Bronson can move back towards the center. Oh, hey.
Hi, kiddo.
Yeah.
Hey, little girl.
It's like one of those YouTube.
It's like the
a million views on YouTube. Like,
Was that Renly?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, baby
Exactly.
Renly. Oh, she's so
cute kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jones's daughter.
Not my kid, but Renly. Yeah. So that to me is what I hope will happen, because there are some real challenges we need to focus on. Affordable housing is a huge one. The port, obviously, homelessness. I really want to see us go forward with the jobs plan that members LaFrance, Quinn Davidson, and I put forward. And I'm hoping that the mayor, again, will moderate, will drop the extreme approach he's had in the last year, and will start to try to govern and work with the assembly instead of trying to bulldoze us.
Can I just interject that I would think there's a lot of voters out there who would say that's a two-way street as well. Both the assembly and the mayor have got to find some common ground, because the headbutting is not a good look for anybody.
No, it's true. If the mayor takes that approach, he'll find very willing partners on the assembly. Unfortunately, they ran against one of their, John has been a pretty good ally to them in a lot of ways, has really been working with them, and they still went after him, and they may have defeated him, which is really unfortunate for Anchorage, and frankly for the Bronson administration, because he was really good at things like planning and zoning and building codes and drainage, and we're going to have to work to try to fill that void. And it's going to be a challenge.
So for us, what they were really trying to do was flip two seats to bust up the supermajority, the veto override. And if these results hold, and they very likely will, even if Weddleton loses, you're still going to have 8, which is enough to override a veto. Was that a thought you had, or was that a consideration you had during this for all of these races?
I don't think it was for me, of course, I was just focused on East Anchorage and what we were doing there. That was really my focus. But I think the people that were looking at kind of the broader picture, absolutely. Of course, there's another downtown assembly seat coming too, and in a special election, and there's a decent chance that that will be held by someone who's more moderate or progressive. And if that's the case, then even had I lost, there probably still would be a supermajority.
We actually earlier discussed this, and maybe you could tell us, what is the override threshold when there's 12 people on the assembly? Do you know?
I thought it was 8, but perhaps it's 9. To be honest, I'm not totally sure. I haven't. We're in uncharted territory here. So hopefully, it goes back to what was that Sarah had said.
Yeah.
we don't want to have to override so many vetoes. He issued an unprecedented amount of vetoes over things that should have been uncontroversial. Park projects on the bond, and $1 million for pre-K education based on alcohol tax projections that wasn't going to increase property taxes. Uncontroversial stuff he was vetoing. And so I'm hopeful that these results will demonstrate that it's better for him to moderate, move towards the center, stop having so many vetoes, and we can move forward, and we won't have to worry about the supermajority threshold.
Forrest, I know you're having a big event there, and I want to thank you for coming on and talking. You've always been very good about coming to our shows and coming to our debates, so I want to thank you for coming on here and talking to us. You have anything else, Sabrena? Sarah?
No, thank you, Forrest, and congratulations.
Congratulations, yeah. Thanks a lot for coming on. Appreciate it.
If Renly wants to come back on, she can.
Yeah, I think she's probably more of a crowd favorite than I am, and that's
puppies.
fine. I'll just say thank you for doing this coverage. Somebody today did comment to me that the one sort of downside to vote by mail is that we can't do the election central thing and the results don't come out. And so
we're doing our.
I mean the rolling through the night and
those were fun
and
at the Egan Center, the balloons.
Yeah, exactly. Coming in with waving the signs and the banners and all that. But yeah, well, no, thank you guys for having me, and I'm sure we'll be talking more in the weeks and months and perhaps years to come. So
thanks a lot, Forrest. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Forrest.
Thank you, guys.
Guys, we're going to go through the results one more time, and then we'll take a quick break. And we're going to have.
I don't think we have to. He's already mic'd up.
Oh, he's already mic'd up?
Come on.
Now you want to get on here?
Yeah, come on. Come sit.
Didn't realize you were mic'd up. Let's just go straight. We'll do one more. We'll talk to Niall, then we'll go through the results again. Have a seat, Niall.
Yeah.
We got Niall Williams, West Anchorage candidate, who didn't raise any money, and you came on our forum here. We didn't have the debate because Liz didn't come on, but we talked to you and Cameron separately, and you weren't raising money. You were just kind of doing it grassroots, and you did peel off 5%. Or almost 400 votes. So
yes, glory to God. Hopefully a few more will trickle in the next coming days.
I'm sure they will.
Yes, sir.
Why did you? Now you've been kind of a very present force at the assembly meetings over the last several years. Why did you decide to run for the assembly?
I wanted to shake things up in the assembly race and give the voters a chance to pick someone different, not of an establishment right or left candidate.
This is your first. Now you haven't run before, have you? I think this is your first time running for.
I did run for school board last year.
Ah, that's right.
In 2021,
right.
For CE.
What was your experience running for assembly here the last several months?
It's been amazing. The contacts that I've had, going door to door, as well, random phone calls, emails, text messages, and I've answered every one of them. There has not been one that I've rejected. I came on the Alaska Watchman. I came on here with the Alaska Landmine. The only people I didn't speak with were ones that willfully ignored me.
I got to say, when I sent out the email inviting folks for the debate, you were the first one to respond.
Yes, sir.
It was quite immediate. So I appreciate that. Some people never responded. So
that is
we
correct.
Appreciate that.
Henceforward, the cardboard cutout.
That's right. We have if we can maybe.
Widescreen.
Do a wide shot on that. That's,
when you don't show up, that's what happens.
That's what happens. So going forward, folks, for assembly or for legislative races and the governor's race and Senate race, if you don't want to show up, we're gonna.
That's gonna cost a lot of money.
Patrick Foster at AP Publishing is gonna love that.
So it's
Keep it
looking
local.
that Cameron Perez Verdia is pretty handily winning that race. What message would you have for him after knocking on doors and talking to people in your district?
Mr. Perez Verdia, I did appreciate your presence at the meetings physically in these past months. Saw you sign waving yesterday over at Northern Lights in Minnesota. Please keep your ears open to the people and continue the hard work. I don't want to congratulate yet because it's not official, but if he does in fact hold, congratulations, sir. It was a great race.
Are you planning on attending more assembly meetings as you have in the past?
Yes, I will continue to go.
You've been a very animated present at some of those meetings.
So, Miss Quinn Davidson, watch out. Your seat's up in a year. I'm coming for it.
Are you gonna maybe try to raise some money?
How does that work? Do you not have to live in the same area?
She's West Anchorage.
There's two representatives.
We got two.
Sorry,
and then we have one downtown, which now we have.
Anchorage be crazy.
Anchorage be crazy.
Your Palmer stuff's a little.
Yeah.
They did mess with a few of the lines, you know, chop Spinard in half at 36, give it to downtown, a few different
They
changes,
did just
but
redraw the boundaries, actually, for
That's a good
Anchorage with
point, yeah.
the every
we
10
lost
year
a lot of our affordable housing that's kind of in that corridor there in the northwestern corner of Spinard.
Now, as somebody who goes to a lot of the assembly meetings now, what do you think the most important issue facing the city is?
Oh, the most important issue is the housing and homelessness and getting that budget truly accountable where we lose those duplicative services.
You said you moved here and you were homeless, right, when you first came to Alaska.
That's correct.
So you've been, you know how that is to. It's hard to be homeless. I think it's hard to be homeless anywhere, but especially in Alaska.
Yeah.
Especially.
It's really hard.
Can't imagine.
It is. There's a lot of wonderful people out there, though. Charity comes from the heart, and so I hope we can come together as a community and begin to reach a helping hand, look each other in the eye, not be scared to go up and give someone a hug when necessary.
Well, I appreciate that, Niall. And like I said, you over 5% of the vote here, and you didn't raise money. You just kind of grassroots did. So
Yeah. not
There's
too
going to be
shabby.
at least 2 more guaranteed votes because we voted today, my wife and I. So
right. So
it'll be up
go.
to 385.
Yeah.
sucker's going up.
And I'm happy to see that the voters have spoken. Another commendation I wanted to give was to the election center staff. I spent a number of hours down there
Yeah.
the past 2 days. Miss Jones, Miss Hines, amazing attention to detail with the volunteers, all the workers, part-time and full-time. So glory to God there. We need to fix the fact that they're restricting videography. That's a problem. We all have freedom of the press under the First Amendment. So I'd like to see those laws changed.
Something about binoculars we heard earlier. There's no more binoculars. I don't know if
That's what I seem to recall.
you heard about that.
Oh, yes.
Do
Oh,
the
yes.
ballot envelopes that you turn in, they have a signature on them?
Yes.
That would be, I mean, I wouldn't want people filming my signature. I could imagine that's probably why.
They put it up
So-
on a giant screen when you go there to adjudicate the ballots and they have a signature problem. They put up like 6 or 7 of their signatures to compare to.
Right.
And
So
that's how they
I
do
could
that
see why
one.
they wouldn't want that video.
It's interesting.
Well, thanks a lot for coming on, Niall. I appreciate you
I
coming.
appreciate you all and God bless you.
Yeah, you
Thank
too.
you.
Thanks for
Thanks
coming
for
on.
putting my
Appreciate
name
it.
Thanks for
out
your
there.
willingness
Yes.
to serve.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And thank you to the voters that voted for me and to all those that didn't. God bless you as well, and may Anchorage continue to thrive.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Niall. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with some more. We're going to go over the results again. Not more results, because the results are what
That's
the
it.
results
That's
are.
what you
Yeah,
get.
I don't think
For
we're
tonight.
expecting more tonight,
No,
right?
no more
We're not.
tonight.
We're going to take a quick break. We want to thank our sponsors, the Alaska Political Report, GCI, and Cascadia Cross-Border Law Group. We'll be right back. We got Darden on Okay, folks, we are back here. Sabrena Combs. Sarah's taking a break.
Just a little break. We have Moose's Tooth Pizza.
A little snacky poo. We are going to go to Dustin Darden, school board
Who?
candidate and overall candidate for basically every race that occurs in Anchorage and Alaska. We're gonna get him pulled up here. Again, Dustin Darden. He's run for a lot of things. He's run for mayor. He's run for legislature. He's run for school board. He's currently running for U.S. Senate.
So is everyone.
Did
you consider putting your name in?
For the House?
U.S. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's running for the U.S. Senate, which there actually is a lot of people for the U.S. Senate race
there
as
are.
well.
But
I think
did
it's
you
up to
consider
15.
putting your name in for Congress?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I considered it as like, why not?
How long did you consider it?
I mean,
Did you fill out
I
the
never
paperwork?
seriously considered it because I got the landmine and I got the political report and I have this whole thing
And you're successful.
I mean, that would have been pretty gonzo, to cover that.
Do you think that most of them are sane choices?
The reason I considered it is because I think based on the amount of votes that are going to come in for the special congressional election, I think of all the people who know me, I mean, I probably could peel off 7,000 or 8,000 votes.
You could probably hurt the chances of someone else.
So,
yeah.
I mean, did I think about it? Sure, I thought about it. I mean, obviously everybody's and their brother has thought about it.
I didn't think about it. I'm going to be honest. Although
We're waiting for Dustin. I can hear him, but
Oh.
I don't see him on the screen just yet. So
I can't hear him. I don't have a special earpiece. Show him your earpiece.
Yeah,
You
no,
look
I have
like
a
Secret
special
Service.
Secret Service type earpiece situation here.
We're having some troubles. Scott Jensen in the back with Carolyn Hall and the other gentleman. What's his name?
Trent McNeely.
Trent McNeely doing all the good work for us tonight. So thank you to all three of them. Apparently that room is also very warm. So there.
Okay, so we have Darden on audio only, I guess. Is you want to go ahead and patch him in?
Oh, I saw him. He was calling in Zoom on
Dustin, are you
his
there?
car.
Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing?
I'm good.
We can't see you. I think there's a little bit of a Zoom issue, but
Yeah, and that it speaks to the importance of in-person meetings, and I
You're
do
more than welcome to
appreciate.
come here. Are you in Anchorage?
I do appreciate the invitation. I'm not going to be able to. I've got an agency meeting that I work with the municipality, so I actually have an agency meeting that starts here in about 6 minutes. So
Really?
I would be there definitely, but the importance of in-person meetings and the constitutionality of the argument that I make, in which during this last unconstitutional shutdown, where they barred the doors from people coming to petition their government for redress of grievances, was a violation of our most fundamental rights of in-person petitioning the government. And these foundational things are the ones that are under the most criticism and attack from those that don't appreciate and value our constitutional liberties.
Dustin, I want to ask you. You're running for the school board right now. You're peeling off just under 5%. Kelly Lesson's the incumbent, over half the vote. Your thoughts on the results right now? The other main conservative candidate, Rachel Rise, at just over 40%.
You know, I discount this entire election. The fact that you're mailing out ballots.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the fact that you're mailing out a ballot to unknown people.
They're known. You could actually go down to the thing and watch them, count them.
But the whole thing is, I'll say this to you, is that what I see is a system designed to fail.
Oh, there he
And
is.
the failing.
We got you now, Dustin, on the screen. So.
The failing system of the mail-out ballots, and any system that you use, say you have a card and you go purchase some food at Fred Meyer's, you go buy a steak, and you get to the register and it says chip not read, chip not identified. Well, that system is designed to make it to where that chip is no longer going to work inside your card, because it's going to be manipulated, and they're going to have the solution, and the solution is going to be an implanted chip under your hand or forehead, which
This is for vote. This is for voting.
Yeah, can we
This is
go
for
back
vote.
to the school board election that you were talking about?
I mean, you're really loud. And then the thing is that for the voting, it's the same system where the system's designed to fail, because ultimately it's going to be a digital system, which they're going to do on computers, and it's going to be tied into your AI microchip component. And they're going to say the only way you're going to have a secure election is to use our system.
Dustin, I want to ask you. I want to ask you about the school board race. So, I mean, you're saying this election is not. You're not recognizing this results here.
No.
No.
So
No,
do
I
you,
don't- I don't
do you
rec-
think if it was under a system that you approved of that you would win?
Absolutely. In-person elections, in-person meetings.
But you have
But
you have run in
the
those
past,
before.
you've run in these kind of elections for the legislature, and you've always done about 10%. So
Well, I'm steadily, I'm gaining momentum in my pursuit for, and you know, these elections and these political seats, a primary amount of the attention is on the election itself. When these puppets get into their positions, it gets really boring and drawn out, and their message isn't really delivered. This is where the message is delivered. And the message I have today is that Kelly Lessons has been arrested by me for interference with constitutional rights.
Wait, you arrested Kelly Lessons?
Yes, I arrested Kelly and Margot Bellamy. What people don't get is these elections aren't the
How did you arrest them? I mean, you're not a cop or like a citizen's arrest.
Yes. What I did was, what you do is I gave her a cease and desist, and I can give you the documentation. I gave them a cease and desist order on camera to stop coercing people to get. Just let me talk for a minute, ma'am. And then I got an agency meeting I got to get to like 2 minutes. So just let me finish this up. So so the people know how to arrest people and get real results. You serve them with the cease and desist. Don't coerce, intimidate anybody to get experimental gene therapy, bioweapon injection, or face diaper, which is also, it was unlawful to have people put stuff on their faces, which Jeff agrees with me on. Now, I gave them the cease and desist.
Not a fan of the mask, so yeah.
They didn't. Yeah, I got a minute and a half, and then I got to run. So they didn't comply to my cease and desist by continually taking federal monies for the bioweapon injection and face diaper mandates and unconstitutional shutdowns. So then you go back to another meeting and you get a private person arrest forms from the Anchorage Police Department. You fill it out, you serve it to them. You don't have to touch them. And then you serve them the arrest document. And then at that point, when you tell them they're under arrest, they are under arrest by a citizen. You take that paperwork down to the Anchorage Police Department, and where you, the citizenry, can help me out right now by putting these tyrants in jail because they've been arrested. Now it's just a matter of discovery and then the hearing.
Hey, Dustin.
We have Randy Salt coming up here from the South Anchorage race, but I want to thank you for coming on. Sorry it didn't work out for you at the school board, but you are running for the U.S. Senate, so maybe that'll be a different one for you. So appreciate you coming on.
Make China Lights great again. They're Mr. Landfield.
China Lights. I'm more of an Asia.
China Lights.
I'm more of an Asia.
Asia Garden.
Asia Garden.
I'm sorry. Make Asia Garden.
Okay,
great
bye.
Appreciate that, Dustin. Thank you for coming on. Good
bye.
luck with your work meeting. We're very excited to have Randy Salt also on the Zoom. We're going to bring on in a second.
Is he less crazy?
It's going to take a second for the producers. I'm not rushing. I'm sorry.
I don't love that.
I feel bad.
And I'm just gonna put this out there.
Has anybody ever tried to citizens arrest you?
No. And here's the thing. When you talk about people like that, these are public servants. These are people that have put their name on the ballot, just like Dustin Darden did. They are parents. They are people that have other jobs. They are people that are trying to serve their communities. And whether or not you agree with them or disagree with them, to say things like that about your fellow citizens is appalling to me. And I would appreciate if we'd stopped giving him time.
Hey, we're an open forum. He's a candidate.
I just mean people as in the entire community. The fact that he...
No, not me. Is it
not
me?
as in you,
Personally.
as in the fact the...
Sarah is mad at me, I think.
No, I'm not mad at you. I think
How many people... 1,877 people voted for him.
Like I said,
Like,
he's the reason Jason Gren beat Liz Vasquez, and the reason Jason Gren lost to Sarah Rasmussen, because in both situations he got about 10% of the vote, which would have swayed the vote outcome
I don't know that
for
anyone
sure.
ever votes for him. I think people either protest vote or they just don't know. They just
don't know. They're like, oh, I know that name, and I'm going to vote for it.
As we all know, a lot of people, most
Or
people,
their fluoride
when you
voter.
knock on doors and talk to folks, most people don't even know who their rep is or their assembly person.
Or they
so,
mix up, like
you know,
they're mad at the federal person and they take it out on the assembly person.
It's just unfortunate because there are genuinely good people on both sides of the aisle that are putting their names out there and genuinely trying to serve their communities, whereas he's just trying to create chaos.
And we wonder why good people don't run for office.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, to be fair, I also think he does have some. He probably needs to get a little bit of. I don't want to say help, but I think there's a lot going on up there that
That doesn't,
maybe
there's
could
something.
be
It has
remedied
been too
with
long
some-
for it to be an excuse.
But you also can't, you can't block people from coming to the meetings.
Yep, you're
No,
right.
he
I don't
is
think
running
he
for
should be
office.
blocked
He has
from.
every right to participate.
I absolutely don't think that, but
Yeah.
But the citizens arrest of people.
Well,
is
they made
quite-
citizens getaways.
Yeah. I never heard about that until now. I mean,
yeah,
it
we
wasn't
all learned
reported.
something.
Yeah, well.
So I think we have Randy Salt on, and we're going to wait for the Scott and. Well, we don't yet.
We
Okay.
don't. Is it salt or
It's
salt?
It's salt.
Salt.
But I
Yeah.
think if you wanted to call him salty, I don't think he would care.
Salty.
I thought it was salty at first, but it's salt. Let's go through the results again.
Okay.
Sure.
And talk about. And again, these are the results for tonight. We're not going to get another update for a couple days, maybe tomorrow.
I think every day is what they said. That they
Every
would,
day they're gonna do
they
a
would
new batch?
Do a new batch every day, but April 18th would be the day.
And they're going to certify it at the next.
The
assembly
certification
meeting.
is the 25th, I think.
So let's go to the Eagle River, the open seat where Crystal Kennedy was not running for re-election, but really no matter because Kevin Cross is almost 60% of the vote, who's a conservative, and he's going to be.
And was kind of hand selected by Jamie Allard. Like they worked a lot together.
Well, Tiffany
should
Lund
have
was
him.
running, who's a friend of Kelly Merrick, who's a conservative, who basically couldn't get any kind of traction with in the race because when Kevin got in, Allard and Kennedy and Bronson kind of went to her, and she couldn't get any traction because of her association with Kelly Merrick.
Oh, I didn't know
So she
that.
dropped out of the race.
I didn't know that
Yeah,
either.
yeah,
I didn't know that's the
she
reason.
dropped out of the race. She was in since last year.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, I love Kevin.
He's animated. That's the word we were. High energy.
He's very high energy.
Very high
So
energy.
he's going to replace Gretchen and. Sorry, I'm hearing some.
Ooh, there's chatter in your ear that
Something's
the rest of us
something's
can't
happening
hear.
in my ear.
I'll keep going. Assembly District 3, Seat D. Cameron Perez Verdia has a much larger lead than anticipated against Liz Vasquez. Not Vasquez.
Vasquez.
4,000 votes to about 3,000 votes, so 55% to 40%. Assembly District 4, we have Meg Zalatel, the incumbent, winning right now with about 54% of the vote versus 46% for Kathy Hensley. Assembly District 5, Seat H, Forrest Dunbar well ahead of Stephanie Taylor with 57% of the vote versus 41%. And then the only one that is very, very neck and neck is Assembly District 6, Seat J. John Weddleton is currently behind Randy Salt by about 153 votes. So that one is going to be the one to watch.
Okay, and I think guys, we have Randy Salt on right now, who we were just talking about. So once we get him pulled
there
up
he
here.
is.
Oh, there he is, Randy Salt. How you doing? Can you hear us?
He's waving. Hi, Randy. Can you hear us? He has glasses on.
Glasses help you hear.
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, you put your glasses on. That's all that you needed.
That's perfect.
How you doing, Randy? We were just talking about your race, and by far the closest one. You're up by about a little over 1%, 1.5, almost 1.5%.
Very close. Too close to call.
What are your thoughts? I mean, I actually, I don't want to brag here, but I called this one for you just because of what I was hearing and seeing in this race and with kind of reactions to John Weddleton. Did you think it was going to be, I mean, how did you feel about this a couple hours ago, and how do you feel right now?
Yeah, I've been feeling good all night. Probably the reason is to have the campaign behind us. Win or lose, I didn't like that part, and I'm glad it's behind us. I'm looking forward, if I get on the assembly, to getting to work, which is what I'm used to doing.
Now, when you came in for the debate, you and John go back a long time. Your kids went to school together, so that was a very friendly debate we had here a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, John and I go way back. His son Rye was my daughter's reading buddy. Our kids went to O'Malley together. You know, it's the process. John's the guy I had to run against. John was the first person I told that I was going to run. So I tried to keep it as friendly and as above board as we could. So hopefully we succeeded in that.
So if you prevail in this race, what are your priorities? What do you want to see happen with the assembly?
The big thing is I want to support small business. And in order to do that, we've got to start by cleaning up our streets. So that's really around homelessness, mental health, drug addiction, vagrancy, illegal camping. It's all tied together. But really what's needed is the counseling around mental health and drug addiction, that then we can start turning the tide and getting people back into societies, and stop the influx first of all. Once we do that, then we can start working on supporting our small business. And how I would do that is looking at Title 21, looking at how we can make it easier to do business in Anchorage, to build in Anchorage. Right now, for one house built in Anchorage, 5 are built in the valley. Builders are having a hard time getting labor to come from the valley. We're starting to lose our trade shows to the valley, and some of them I don't think are going to come back. So it's a friendly competition with the valley, but we've got to rebuild.
I'm a big proponent of that bridge. We got to build that friggin' bridge because that's going to open up so much land and development and housing and business. And we've been talking about it forever. And I'm actually working on an article I'm going to put out pretty soon about this. But this $1,300 energy rebate the legislature wants to do at almost $900 million could put a big dent in that bridge. We don't build anything anymore. We don't really do much.
We do. Thank you. We used to build roads, and don't get me started.
Yeah, you go back to the TVA days, Tennessee Valley Authority, and public works projects are great for an economy. And right, we may or may not need that bridge today, but that bridge is going to take us 10, 15 years to build. And in 10, 15 years, it's going to be a completely different story, and we will need it.
So, Randy, unfortunately, the business of the Assembly has been focused on how the Assembly does business. How do you see yourself working with your other Assembly members if you get elected and trying to stop this rhetoric that continues to happen versus the mayor versus the Assembly, et cetera, and working together?
Yeah, I don't care what side you're on, what party you're with. I care about results. At the end of the day, I don't want to have to stand up and tell you what I've done. I want you to be able to tell me what you see that we've done. And I'm I come from the business world. If I don't get things done, I get fired. And that's the same way I look at the Assembly. We need to get things done, and we get them done for you and for the citizens of Anchorage.
Go ahead.
I like that. I don't care how many elected officials have you had people stand up and tell you what they've done, but let's deny your lying eyes if you're like, well, this city still looks like a hellscape.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I like that, Randy. That's a nice way of putting it.
Randy, the Dunbar Stephanie Taylor race saw about $450,000 pulled in, but your race saw over $300,000. You raised, I think it was about 100. I got to pull the article up here.
About 160 or so.
160, and John was 145. So over $300,000. You haven't run. You're a first-time candidate, I think, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
What do you attribute all the money you raised to, and then all the money in this election?
I think it's just the state of Anchorage. Hopefully, it's not a premonition of things to come, because I think it's way too much money to spend on these races.
Amen.
I mean, that's hard-fought money. It's excluding the common man almost from being able to run for these things.
Exactly.
It's nice to hear you say that, because Forrest just said the same thing. It'd be nice to go back to the days where you didn't have to raise that kind of money to win a seat. Yeah.
Yeah, back 10
agreed.
years ago, you could raise $70,000 for an assembly race,
And that was a lot.
Really good.
Last thing I want to say, Randy, is we had Darren Colbrey in the studio earlier, and he actually talked about how his being in the race could have an impact on the outcome, and he's
It
but he hopes
absolutely
you
could.
win.
he's almost 2%.
But he hopes you make it.
Yeah, he was here earlier tonight. I like Darren, other than maybe
Is he
he's a
at that
Seahawks fan, but he's going to impact the race one way or the other. He's going to pull votes from either myself or John.
How's the crowd down where you are?
Sounds like it's popping.
It was. I'll show you. It was really good earlier.
And then the results came out.
Would you mind giving us a little insight into, just maybe a little peek in
Yeah,
there?
show
'Cause
us what's
we
happening.
couldn't get anybody in there. Just give us a little. You're the guy. I mean, you're the one who's doing. You're the only guy who's.
You're the one who's
guide.
doing well.
Okay, so this place was packed earlier. It was standing room only. But once the results dropped, and we all learned there would not be any more results until tomorrow or the next
Tomorrow
day.
night, probably. Yeah, tomorrow night.
Everybody went to bed.
Yeah.
And I'll probably join them shortly.
It's a Tuesday night.
Well, if you want, Randy, if we're close by, if you want to come over, we have plenty of White Claw and Jim Beam. So
I love it. I love the Jim Beam.
you're welcome to come by. Well, thanks again, Randy Sultan. It's a very, very close race. I mean, it's about 1%, 100 and some votes, and I think we're all going to be watching this race in the next couple days very, very closely.
Hey, win or lose, we do owe John a debt of thanks for his 6 years. I don't know why anyone would want to do it,
Yeah.
but thanks for his public service.
Yep.
Absolutely.
He's a good man.
Thank you,
Thank
Randy.
you, Randy.
Yep. Thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Take care. Good night.
What a nice
Is
guy.
he very
huh?
tall?
What a
I
nice-
see. No, this is
He's
how
very tall.
our-
He's like 6'5" or something.
This
Is he?
how things are supposed to happen.
But that's what I want to see. I'm very tired of the
The
partisanship,
He's very
awfulness,
very cordial.
gracious.
Yeah, he's really
and-
tall, isn't he?
He's like
Yeah,
6'5".
Randy's very tall.
He looks very tall.
Yes, he's very tall.
Yeah, bless his heart. Okay, well,
Well-
I'm pleased with his camaraderie.
Let's just. I think we should go through one more time and pull these up. I'm gonna try to Chuck Todd it again, guys. I've just been told to my earpiece I need to try to.
Chuck Todd.
let's,
We need a little
Chuck
razzle
Todd it.
dazzle.
Now, guys,
Well, what we need to
we're-
have is like one of us running the.
We need to have
scrolling.
what I need to have is like an iPad that has a connection or a touch screen where I can pull.
Look at that wide shot. Do we
Maybe
need
for
Mayor Bronson to help you?
We're setting up the camera.
Maybe for the next election, GCI will hook you up with this, Jeff. Just saying.
Maybe GCI could give me a $10,000 touchscreen setup.
Dear
where-
GCI,
Right.
we
Never
use
know.
your mug.
I think
but
Chuck Todd actually has like an iPad.
He
doesn't
does. He scrolls it himself.
Either
That shouldn't be that hard,
some
actually. I mean,
kind
that
of
shouldn't.
wizardry.
No,
That shouldn't be that
I don't
hard.
think we need GCI for that. I think you could do that.
I think we just need an iPad.
It's
and
a
then some kind of
dongle
connection to the-
situation.
Now, can the folks see the
Yes.
screen here?
Well, not with that.
Not with the wide shot.
Not with the wide shot. Hey, you guys are on TV.
We're going. Hey, Niall and Niall's wife, how you doing? Okay, now
There
can
we go.
everyone
go.
see these results here on the screen?
Yeah, you can. Look at it.
Okay, we're going to start with Assembly District 2, Eagle River, Chugiak. Kevin Cross with almost 60% of the vote. Main challenger, Gretchen Wemhoff, we have 15% of the vote in. This is going to be a Kevin Cross seat. Eagle River, Chugiak seat's going to stay
Can we give a
conservative.
shout out to teachers, though? Gretchen Wemhoff was a teacher at Chugiak High School for a very long time. And
she was on the Assembly. She was appointed to the Assembly a while
but
back.
she's just a
when
huge
Amy
advocate
Devosky-
for educators, and I just appreciate her.
come in here and do this. I need to fix your mic.
Oh, there's
man.
Scott
Oh, wow.
Jensen.
Let's
Oh,
get
my
Scott Jensen on the-
goodness.
Got Scott Jensen
Guys,
live.
Scott Jensen's on TV
Does
right
Chuck Todd
now.
have like a
Can you
produ-
turn
like a
around
produ-
and
No,
smile?
this is totally unprofessional.
Yeah.
Are we good?
There's Scott.
It's not TV
wow.
news, Scott. We're good.
Listen to your voice.
Everyone, he can't stand to
That was a
listen
great live
to your
fix.
voice.
I mean, that was-
Did you hear that? He can't stand to listen to your voice.
I don't think he meant my voice. I think he meant the way my
no,
voice
no,
was
that's
sounding.
all he said.
Again, Kevin Cross, 60%. He's going to win this one. That seat's going to stay conservative. We're moving on to District 3, the West Anchorage. We have Niall Williams here in studio with almost 5%, but Cameron Perez-Verdilla just killing this with over
14.
55.
Cameron with a K, let's be clear.
Cameron with a K, Perez-Verdilla, with almost 55% of the vote.
Would
in
he
a
have
three-way
done
race.
as well with a
Liz
C?
Vasquez,
No.
40%, 17%. Higher turnout than the Eagle River one, but this is going to be, you can't overcome that.
Yeah,
So
let's scroll.
Cameron's going to win re-election.
Don't you always want to see the list of write-ins? 36 write-ins. Who are those
I'd love to
people?
see
are
those.
they?
You
God,
can
I'd
get
love
those
to
in
see
the,
that
the
list.
Cards cast report. This is the one that we thought was going to be closer, and it is close, but it's not that close. Meg Zolotel, incumbent, Kathy Hensley. Meg's up 53 to 46.
Am I correct that you're not calling this for her?
She's going to win. I mean, there's no way Kathy can overcome that. I mean,
Okay.
what is that? That's 500 votes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not impossible. It's the closest one we've seen, but
very,
Aside-
very difficult
it's
with
a
that
tough
kind of
road to hoe.
margin. So we got the seat H, the East Anchorage race, which a lot of people thought Forrest was going to be vulnerable because of all the money. I mean, there's almost $500,000 spent on this race, but Forrest number handedly up 16 points against Stephanie Taylor, the conservative challenger,
So
with
much
17% of
money.
the vote in. And then Christopher Hall, the gun-toting guy.
But can we
conservative,
pause and Stephanie
2
Taylor? I hope that you continue to. I want her to do something else in our community.
Yes, me
Good,
too.
good campaign, good candidate.
Well, and she's just a kind person. I can see that, and so I hope that she continues to stay involved and do something else in our city.
I suspect, just
board or
listening to her,
commission.
I think she's been bitten by the bug.
Yeah,
I
that's
suspect
good.
we will see more of her.
She was here in studio for the debate. It was a great
Yeah.
debate.
I
We
hope
had a good
so.
time with it.
I mean, just there's so many boards and commissions that she could be involved with right now to get her feet wet, and she'd be great.
Then we have the South Anchorage race. We just talked to Randy Salt. This one is very close. I mean, we're at about a little over a % difference with Randy Salt up 49.85 to 48.42 against John Whittleton, the incumbent. This would be his third term if he were to win. Darren Colbrey, who was in studio earlier, almost 2%, which, as you can see here, impacts this result. If he wasn't in the race, there's 186 votes.
It would still be too close to call,
But still,
but yeah.
Let's go to the school board races. We have 2 school board races. which were being targeted by the conservatives as well. But in both cases, the incumbents are kind of way up.
So this is what. So Cliff Murray dropped out and threw his support
They
behind.
both
Cox. Who's Dan?
Dan, Lori, and Cliff
okay.
Murray both dropped out.
But on
Note
the
to self, do that before the ballots are printed.
and actually on the website for the Muni, Cliff Murray's the only one they show actually dropped out. So I think that Dan did it even later than he was supposed to.
Well, he dropped out after the deadline because he's still on the ballot.
And,
so
and
They
it
both
looks like
did.
it wouldn't have made a difference anyway.
well,
but
it would have been if all of those votes would have gone to Mark Anthony Cox. It would have been much closer.
would have been much closer. But point being, if you're going to drop out, do it before they print ballots.
And all of these votes, and it's just impossible for all of these votes to go to the other candidate.
Right.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's again 50% of the vote in a four-way race here. With
And these are the
Margot Bellamy,
incumbents.
the school board
And
president.
Margot Bellamy is beloved. I mean,
beloved.
Very nice woman.
And then we have our last school board race, incumbent Kelly Lessons.
Which, let's be real, she has the best name for a school board candidate.
Look at I'm Chuck Todding it.
Yeah.
And then we have
Rachel. It's Reese.
Rachel Rise or Reese?
I thought it was Reese.
I thought it was Rise. I think it's Rise.
I think it's Reese.
We should
I'm
check
with Sarah
that.
on
We should
that.
check
Embarrassing that we, because
But-
I've heard her speak too, and she's also
kind.
extremely impressive.
Helicopter, Army helicopter
Yes.
pilot.
Total
awesome,
badass.
awesome
Anybody
woman.
on our Facebook feed, please
Kelly
tell us
Lessons,
if it's Reese or
51,
Rise.
over half the vote in again a four-way race.
Ben
The
Baldwin.
main incumbent, the main challenger, conservative Rachel Rise or Reese with only 40%. So
Really-
that's the
Really
fluoride
quickly, I
What-
went.
Real quick, what are the commenters saying about this
They are-
this stand-up style here I'm
Is
doing?
anybody
They are
still
not
watching?
commenting at all. We still have 50.
Is anybody
50
watching?
We have 50 viewers. So I did go through all the LURSAs just because I think it's important. Those
Limited
Limited
road service area.
and those, I mean, people are putting their names out there.
We have to give a big shout out to Allison Hovanek, the Alaska stalker. Her dad won
And
again.
But can-
so big
but-
shout
but
out to
let's- but-
Colin Leary.
There's
Colin.
Colin Leary.
Hoop country.
That's
Hoop
Allison's
country.
dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He won.
But there is not a single contested LURSA race this year, and so
That's because you don't run. You get You get told
I know
that you're
you
going
get
to
told
do it.
by your neighbors.
Yes.
So that's exciting. Congratulations to all the
Oh,
LURSA
Sharice is giving
folks.
you some love on your stand.
Yes.
Oh my God,
oh,
Sharice
thanks,
Phillip, former
Sharice.
representative. Which, by the way, I've been trying to get the podcast with, and we're going to do it.
Sharice, you
So-
have to.
Sharice.
We have to break that
I
down.
feel like you have a story. Let's talk
yeah.
really quickly about propositions. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, I agree. That's important.
Propositions 1 and 2, which are the capital improvements for the school district.
Give those guys 1 second to pull that
No,
up on
that's
the
fine. I'm just going to talk
on the
about
screen.
it. The school district bonds and the capital improvement bonds are neck and neck. I have no idea which way it'll go. Right now, both of them are very, very slightly leaning towards yes, but it is 50-50.
Are you on 1?
1 and 2.
50.18 to 49.82.
Both 1 and 2 are almost
There it is.
exactly
Wow.
the
On
same.
the screen there.
Wow.
Proposition 3, though, is where we get to public safety. That tends to always win.
Everybody loves the fire
You want to go
station.
stand up by the screen and do the?
Sure.
Here, we're gonna get Sabrina on the.
Wow.
on the big
I'm going to
screen.
Chuck Todd. How exciting.
Go girl.
Okay, so Proposition 2 is neck
Hold
and
on,
neck.
we're gonna wait for the program to come
How
back.
exciting. I don't know if I wore the right clothes for this. It's fun.
I think you look great. I think
Oh,
you
thanks,
get
Jeff.
kind of the vest
So
on
then
and-
we'll come up.
There it
yeah.
is. Look at that.
So
That's amazing.
Propositions 1 and 2,
You look
neck
like
and
Jackie
neck.
Purcell.
I don't look anything like
No,
that.
like
I
on
love
the
Jack.
TV.
Like that's neat. Yeah. So Proposition 3, we get into safety and transit, and so that is winning by about 10%, which is great. And we'll keep going. Proposition 4, roads and drainage, winning 61% to 38%. So that one is going to pass. Anchorage Parks and Rec Bond also going to pass 55% to 44%. And then Proposition 6, 7, and possibly 8, those are 6 was the fire protection. That, of course, won.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, 7's failing.
7 and 8 are very specific to very small areas. So only 678 people could vote on this. It is failing. I have no idea what that even means.
Either. Mountain.
RRSA. What's RRSA?
I have no idea.
How about a de-annexation? That's good.
Yeah, and then a de-annexation, which is really interesting.
Does that mean coming together?
Yeah, and so then 325 people could only vote on that, but it passed overwhelmingly. And then an annexation, the opposite of a de-annexation,
God, this
also
is
passing.
esoteric.
Look at that, only 177 people could vote on that. So overwhelmingly yes. So yay for 8 and 9.
That is the kind of thing if I saw it on my ballot, I would just.
You'd be like, yeah, sure thing. I know, those are the kinds of things that no one pays attention to, and so that's how they pass, because no one pays attention.
Sir, what is your reaction to these results for tonight? I think you were a Taylor camp, right? You were.
Yeah, I thought she would do. I knew it was going to be tough for her to take out Forrest just because he has been assembly member in East Anchorage and has a name recognition of running for mayor and all that. I thought it'd be a little closer. But my take is that I really hope this is a lesson for everybody. And I know Forrest said he hopes that the mayor moderates his governing style. That may be true, but
And you've actually worked for Mayor Sullivan, right? So you've worked in that environment.
But I said it to Mr. Dunbar that I think this is a two-way street. The assembly also needs to moderate its positioning, and I think this is a signal to everybody that voters want them to govern
and move on.
COVID is in the rearview mirror. We're not we're not done. Even though some of us, half our body weight is vaccine at this point, it's pretty much over, and we need to move on to actually fixing problems. And we need our leaders, the mayor and the assembly, to actually focus on coalescing around policy that they can move forward and get things done.
And there's still this homelessness issue. There's
downtown. God, downtown.
In sync here.
Fix downtown.
I moved here in 2004, and every mayor everybody has always said, we're going to revitalize downtown.
But you know what? Downtown used to not need revitalizing. Even 10 years ago, you could go downtown. Now I go downtown and I feel like I'm looking for, running from zombies from The Walking Dead so I don't get bit. Because it's abandoned. It's
not great.
It is not.
And there's so many people that we could be attracting from Washington, from Seattle area, from Silicon Valley, tech workers
and it's
who
not
now
for
can
lack
work
of
remote.
we have so many small business owners down there who are trying, but there's just it's messy. It's just gross. I don't feel safe going down there.
Orso's reopening on Friday.
I'm so happy Orso's reopening.
It is, and
yes,
I'm so
April
excited.
7th. April 7th.
Yes, but you're right.
Yeah.
It just needs
some
help.
energy.
That building, watching that building get built right there, the one that's being rebuilt. I'm like, oh look, things are happening in downtown.
And I've heard the mayor say this, and I've heard the governor say it too. You go anywhere out of state. Cities that are growing, I was in Nashville a couple months ago, and you look out your hotel window and there are cranes everywhere.
Cranes, yes.
Building and construction.
I was in Seattle in September with Paxson.
They have the most cranes in any city.
There's so many
in the
ways
US.
to criticize Seattle's politics and
right.
government.
But they're growing.
There's cranes everywhere.
Right.
There's construction happening. There's things happening.
Right. We have one lonely crane that's all sad.
No, you're right.
Got to make something happen here.
We got to get something going, and we need our leaders to get over this whole I'm mad at you,
right.
and you're mad at me. Just govern, please.
Yep. With the bridge,
back to business.
The road to Juneau got killed. That could have taken so much pressure off the ferry. So Watana, the gas line, bullet line to Fairbanks.
Oh, God, right.
There's so many projects that are good to go, ready to go, that we can't do.
When is the last time we actually built something? The last major road I remember.
You know where they're building things in the valley.
In the valley.
The last big one was Red Dog Mine, probably.
Actually, in Anchorage specifically, I remember when they built Minnesota to punch through to the airport, because you used to have to drive down to International Airport Road and to go to the airport. And it used to be called the Minnesota Bypass, which shows my age because I still call it the bypass, and people are like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I'm like, oh, that's right. Never mind, Minnesota.
Didn't they? Would they recall that? Hickle?
The Hickle. It doesn't stick.
No one's ever called it that.
Nobody calls it that.
They renamed it the Hickle 5 years ago.
It's still Minnesota. And for the record, why did we call it Minnesota?
Which is a weird,
right.
Objectively a weird name for that road.
Right. What did Minnesota ever do for us? I don't get it. But regardless, that's the last time I remember being in Anchorage and being like, oh wow, this is really cool, a new road. And I was 8.
I've just been told that Trent McNeely is from Minnesota, and he's not.
Sorry, Trent.
Enjoying and McNelly. God damn it! And you used to work with Trent, so now I've really stepped in.
Just so you, Trent, Minnesota land of 10,000 lakes, Alaska land of 3 million.
Oh snap!
Well, the feed's been cut.
Oh God!
Folks, hello.
The comeback to that is Minnesota land of 10,000 accessible lakes.
That's true, yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and go through the results one more time, and then I think we'll wrap it up.
Clearly.
Really not,
we
could keep drinking and keep talking.
We're going to, but
we could get Sarah more clients or lose clients. I don't know.
Let's just move
Folks,
on.
by the way, again, I want to thank our sponsors, the Alaska Political Report, which is another business I run, and there's 3 of us, so it's not just me. And you guys are both subscribers through your businesses. And,
good product.
It's the
Amazing
budget,
product.
it's calendars of the governor, and the commissioners.
You know what I love?
It's analysis.
This is just me being like nosy. I love when you put out the list of how much money people make.
We do the list of salaries.
I'm like, woo!
Of all the staffers. We break down the executive compensation for all the employees.
It's our money. It's state money.
We some people get very mad about that, but you know what? That's
Every time
state
I
money.
like when you
State
put
money.
out the lobbyist salaries. I'm like, damn it, I should
I
have been a
know.
lobbyist.
We break
know.
down. So if you go on APOC and you click lobbyists and you can search them, but it's very difficult to actually figure out who has what clients and how, because sometimes the way they categorize themselves is they're an employee of their company and they have partners and they have different clients. So we break all that down into very discernible, understandable. Here are the clients. Here's the money. And some of them make a lot of money.
And hey, you know what? I'm a proud capitalist.
Yeah.
Go do it.
But people
And they're working hard.
People
They
do
work their asses off.
people do like knowing that. And knowing who's
it's
paying-
good information.
Paying who and for
But
what,
ultimately,
so.
when you look at the way Alaska is, I mean, we have an inaccessible capital. Lobbyists are essential to be getting business done.
Got a place at the Driftwood, and
So anyway,
and it's very inaccessible.
let's
it's
go
true.
back over those results.
Can I finish our
Yeah,
sponsors?
sorry.
We have GCI, who lightning fast internet. We have the gigabit here. Cell phones, you got the Yukon TV. Internet's amazing. I'm very happy with the gigabit internet.
My phone's working
I have
and the
GCI all the way across. Everything. Phone, internet. I used to have a landline because it was my
God, you're like a GCI.
Well, they used
What
to be
was
my
your
client
landline
back
number?
in the days. So I had a landline number. That was my teen line.
Did it spell something?
No, it was. Well, I could recite it too, but I don't want to do that if
Mine used to be 222-7652.
346-3614.
Yeah, I missed mine.
Wow.
And then obviously Cascadia Cross Border Law Group. My friend Margaret Stock. She won the MacArthur Foundation. It's called the Genius Grant. It was in 2013.
That's what it's called?
That's what it's known as the Genius. It's a fellowship. They gave her $650,000 to help advance her cause of the work in immigration law and military immigration law. Anyway, she's an outstanding immigration attorney. So if you have a business need for immigration or personal need or any kind of immigration issue in your life, you need to call Margaret Stock at Cascadia Cross Border Law Group. She is an amazing immigration attorney. She's literally, I'm not exaggerating, world-renowned.
And she really does have that reputation. Even I know that, and I don't pay much attention to that kind of thing.
She's amazing. So, and then we have Blueprint Alaska, Sarah Crisis, Sarah Erkmann Ward. I call it a crisis communications, but I think it's a lot more than that.
It's
right?
definitely like you don't want to just call me on your worst day. Yeah, you should also call me on your best day, so that when your worst day comes, you're adequately prepared.
But if somebody's in crisis mode and they have a big problem and they need like a calm strategy.
Yes, and I would say that I work very well with our dear friends, the lobbyists. If they, if you have a lobbyist who's working the legislation and you want somebody who's working the public relations, then they overlap beautifully, and then you have your whole base covered.
That's the whole. I think the best lobbyist firm would be a really good lobbying firm would be a lobbyist, but also a comms together.
Yep, absolutely.
Like one-stop shop.
It's a marriage made in heaven. Yep.
And then we have Sabrena, Palmer City Council.
Public servant.
I want to say, if you're in Palmer, you need to vote against this recall for her and these two others. These recalls are so stupid. I was against the Dunleavy one.
I hate recalls.
I was against all these local ones in Anchorage.
And I truly invite anyone who doesn't like my politics to run against me in October. Please do.
That's America.
Please do.
That's how we do it.
It's not glamorous work, I can promise you that.
So, folks, we're going to do one more breakdown of the results. And again, we're not going to see any more results till tomorrow. And then we're going to wrap it up. And again, I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank Sarah Erkmann Ward, Sabrena Combs, all of our guests in studio and remote. We're going to go through one more time the results, starting with the Eagle River seat, Kevin Cross at 60% of the vote. That's going to stay. That's an assembly seat. Crystal Kennedy's not running for re-election. That's going to stay conservative. The Cameron Perez Verdilla, we had Niall Williams in studio earlier, but Cameron's at 55% almost, and conservative challenger Liz Vasquez at 40%. Higher turnout there than the other races, it seems like 17%. The Meg Zolotel race, Kathy Hensley, I thought that was going to be closer. It's not super close, but I mean it's also not a big range like we've seen with some of the other races. 53 to 46. What do we got there? We got a message?
Yes.
Somebody say something about me?
No, just keep going.
The next race, East Anchorage, Stephanie Taylor, conservative challenger against Forrest Dunbar. Forrest Dunbar up by 16 points. I mean, 17%, again, higher turnout than some of the other ones, but I mean, that's just a big, huge number, 40
money.
to 56. and almost $500,000 spent on that race.
Let's never
That
do that
is
again.
insane.
Do you know? I mean, $500,000 could do a lot for a lot of things.
I mean, you could like think of what you could do with people that like are in need of like a house who can't get into. I mean,
Okay.
the average.
All right, but okay, in politics, we always say that money could go to feed. Okay, it doesn't. It's in politics. So,
That's true. Yeah, it's
Right.
not going to do those things.
It-
but.
But at the same time, I want anyone to be able to think that they could win. You know what I mean?
It's still a lot of money. for a
when you
senator.
see numbers like that,
Yes.
it's like, oh, I'm not going to run because I
Absolutely.
can't raise $500,000.
You go to Joe Q. Citizen and say, "We need you to run for the assembly, and by the way, you need to raise $500,000."
And that's
you're-
for an
you're like, I'm out.
assembly
I got
seat.
the same time.
I didn't get the text.
Sorry, Sabrina. And then the last one is the really close one is the Randy Salt, John Whittleton.
That's
This is
what we'll be
about
watching.
a little over a percent difference, and Randy's up against incumbent John Whittleton. So
We'll do a Zoom live stream.
And I love this because it's like a little gentleman's race. Like
They're
we
kind.
got to hear from Randy, who was very gracious, win
I
or
would love
lose.
if John
and
called in.
everyone agrees. We talked to, and I think if you talk to anybody, John Whittleton is a very
He's a stand-up
good,
guy.
decent human being. So Hillside wins
Bosco's,
no matter.
He owns Bosco's, the comic
Yeah,
book.
yep, the comic book. He's a comic book guy.
He's
which,
a longtime Anchorage
with
business owner.
all due respect to our friend Dave Steeren, like I'm not holding that against him, frankly. Comic book people.
What does that mean?
I just think it's a little weird, like the comic.
Can I just say something? I wasn't planning on. You brought this up. I mean, I've known Dave forever, and I haven't said this publicly.
Does
and
he shit on
Oh,
that?
I used to fill in for him for a long time. He gave me a shot in radio. He has gone off the fucking deep end.
Wait, did he
with his
shit
job
on?
with Dunleavy.
Did he shit on John Whittleton's job?
No, he and
I don't
John
know,
are
did he?
friends.
No, what are we talking? How
Oh,
does
he's
this?
just.
I was
he's
talking
just,
about comic books.
I was talking about how he's calling Scott Kendall a soy boy and how he's been going on
But what
Twitter.
does this have to do with John Whittleton?
She brought up Dave's nothing. She brought up
Because
Dave's Steeren. I
Dave
don't
likes
know.
comic books,
Dave likes comic
and
books.
I think the whole
okay.
comic book thing is weird.
I thought you were saying like he
Dave-
shit on the
Dave-
fact
I like
that he
Dave,
owned a.
but man, he's gone off the deep end with his Dunleavy stuff. You know, he works for Dunleavy, makes 140 grand, and he's just saying the most crazy, horrible things about people on Twitter.
We
I
should
don't
get
know.
him to
I mean,
call in.
Yeah, get Dave, come on if you're watching. He's probably
I
not
don't-
watching. But anyway, you brought him up. I didn't mean to.
Well,
But he's really gone off the freaking deep end here. And I wish he
don't-
would just come. You know, he was so good on the radio.
He has a
so
great
good on the
radio
radio.
voice.
I don't know. I'm not picking up that vibe, but
Are you on Twitter? Do you go on?
yes, which actually I spend way more time on Twitter than I should.
I do too.
I know it's such a time suck. I finally
not
I'll
a
be at
great-
work and I'll just like close it out. I'm like, this is a waste of time.
Not a great place.
It's a dark place, and it's a
Elon Musk just bought like 10%.
I know, and I'm really happy
what?
about that.
Twitter.
Twitter.
Really?
For
Yes.
$3 billion.
$3 billion?
Yeah.
Well, you know,
10% for $3
Yeah, that
billion
means it's worth about $30 billion.
which is like, you know,
Thank you
his
for doing
couch
that math for
cushions
me, Jeff.
I'm really good at math.
It's an echo chamber, though. I can't. Ugh.
Our last two results we're going to go over are, again, these
Sorry.
school board races, which are kind of just blowouts with the incumbents. Both Margot Bellamy and Kelly Lessons have gotten over half the vote in four-way races. One of the races with Mark Anthony Cox, Cliff Murray, and Dan Loring kind of...
Mark Anthony Cox, real impressive, too.
Oh, impressive. Yeah, no, I saw him. I saw
Yeah.
him speak at a couple of events, and he was great.
Hopefully he'll stay involved
Yeah.
and try to find other ways to serve.
Absolutely. That's a good message for everyone.
Right.
to
Don't
be
give
honest.
up. Don't give up.
Yeah. There are so many ways to serve your community.
Yep.
We may have another person coming on, but I'm getting something in the ear, but we're not sure yet. So we're going to keep talking for a few minutes. And,
Is it Dave Steeren?
I wish
I would love to
I wish
talk
it was
to
Dave
Dave.
Steeren. He's
It's
gone
somebody
off
that-
the
what?
deep.
It's gonna
He's
be
gone
somebody
off
who,
the deep end.
It's gonna be somebody who likes comic books.
That's true.
In which case,
Is it John?
I'm out.
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay, we're
I'm
waiting.
getting something in the earpiece. and
Lur says. We don't have those in the Valley.
We're working with our amazing
I don't
producers.
think.
And
Actually, maybe we do, but we don't have them on our ballots.
Again, I want to thank our amazing producers, Scott Jensen, Carolyn Hall, and Trent McNelly,
McNelly.
who's just done an amazing job.
He's a
and
wizard.
He is a wizard.
He is a
You
wizard.
guys for those of you who don't understand about Landmine Studios, it is a top-notch production here. There is a room back there that...
We have lights that like make us look younger.
Look at it.
We got
Look
the,
at it.
We got the wide shot here. And while we're on
can
this,
rent it here to,
this
like,
is
do your own
this
show.
is me and Scott Jensen. We've formed a kind of partnership here, and we're both using it for our own stuff, but together as well. So if you're a business or political campaign or organization,
If
or
you want to have a podcast.
if you want to do a video, if you want to do, we have a full-on production studio here. So we do rent it out to anybody. And I don't care if you're a communist or a fascist. I mean, if you want
Why
to,
did you point at me with a fascist?
a communist or a fascist? God.
That's an
How
extreme.
about a capitalist?
What I'm saying is, if you're a political campaign, we don't care who you are. If you want to rent the studio and come use it for commercials, audio, video. If you want to put together a live stream event, if you're a business or an organization, you want to have
Or if you want to do a podcast with Jeff.
If you want to do a podcast, if you want to have a big meeting, we're not closing out.
We're not.
Well, who are we waiting for? Like, it better be good at this point.
Possibly somebody cool.
Okay, all right.
But if you're a business with
You can use
a
this
need
place.
to have a Zoom meeting in person and people remote, and we can do all that here with our cameras. So
It's also right next to Fast Cash, Alaska.
It's all- it
so
also-
you can get your pawn
weed
stuff
we
done.
actually, to be totally honest, that TV, that Chuck Todd TV we bought today
Fast Cash.
from Alaska Fast Cash.
And there's also a weed shop and Taco Bell.
I think it's an Andrew. Is it an
It's
Andrew Halcrow weed shop?
Weed shop.
Andrew
So-
Halcrow's Weed Shop.
And Taco Bell right next door. Coincidence? I don't
Okay,
know.
guys, we have a special guest here. We have somebody coming in.
I love that.
I think we have John Weddleton. There he is, John Weddleton,
Hi, John.
Assembly member and owner of Bosco's. How you doing, John?
Oh,
Was that my cue, weed shop? That's not a very good cue for me. I'm sorry. I mean, I have a lot of respect for the industry, and I've gotten to know all of them because every single license has gone through the community and economic
yeah,
That's
development
right.
I bet.
How about those weed shops at Eagle River? Are you familiar with that debate?
I am actually. That's a very interesting debate. We'll see where that goes.
So John, your race is really close. I mean, it's by far the closest. The margin is 100 and some votes, about 1%. What are your reactions to how close the race is?
Yeah, I expected it to be close. So it's not. I mean, I'd certainly prefer to me to be up, but 6 years ago, at the end of the first day of counting, I was down 300 and clawed my way back, and so that could happen this time. We've got quite a few more votes. I think we're only at 24%, and South Anchorage can go 40%.
Yeah, and your race is your district is by far the highest turnout so far.
Yeah,
go
for
South
sure.
Anchorage. Whoop, whoop.
Go ahead.
I don't think they would have Girdwood's drop box in there yet, at least since the last time they
I would
emptied.
doubt it.
So
Oh, yeah, you're probably
Girdwood
right.
would be.
Do you feel like you're strong in Girdwood?
Yeah, I think for a number of reasons. I mean, one, when Bronson was very weak down there. I mean, they went very solidly for anyone but Bronson, and I think I've been very attentive to Girdwood over the past 6 years, and I think they know that and appreciate it. So, and not just me, Suzanne and I have really spent a lot of time down there. It's a great community. It's very enjoyable to work with them.
We've seen in the Taylor Dunbar race about almost $500,000, $450,000, but in your race with Randy Salt, over $300,000 combined raised. Why do you think so much money is poured into your race?
It's interesting. People were very generous, and just a chance to say thank you everybody who donated. It's very humbling to have that kind of money flow into the race. It's I didn't expect that at all. But I think people know that it's very important. They I guess a lot of people are very attentive, and they're want to see change, and change can come both ways. It doesn't mean changing the assembly member, but they're worried that they're. When I go door to door, I was hearing not, the assembly bad or the mayor bad. It was my city government is dysfunctional. A lot of frustration with that, and they just want that fixed. And one message was, well, run the bums out, right? We've been hearing that for a number of years. And the other was, I'm not part of that problem, never have been. And I kept the campaign very positive, and just saying, hey, here's what we've done, here's what we plan on doing, here's how I work. It's very. I work well with the mayor and work well with the assembly. It's just very collaborative. And we have 12 people elected to help govern the city, and they're all put there by the voters, and they all deserve respect. And that's kind of my starting point for everything. So,
Randy came on earlier, and I mentioned when you guys came in for the debate, it was very cordial, and you guys have a history with your kids, and you guys kind of got along very well. I want to ask you about that. It was one of the races where it was probably the most friendly, I would say.
Well, somewhat. I think it was very negative, actually, particularly at the end. I mean, it was just attacks. And I look for. My first campaign in 2016, we had 3 candidates that a few filtered out over time, but everybody spoke to their abilities. And Mark Schimsheimer and Treg Taylor brought in real talent, and any of the 3 of us would have been good assembly members. Treg's now Attorney General. Mark is like higher up at water utility. And that's how the campaign went. People talking about their abilities and not, jabbing each other. And this one was very different. This was, I was kind of talking about what I've done, what I plan on doing. And then the other side was largely attacks. And a lot of it was absolutely incredibly untruthful. And it's frustrating because, a lot of what, it's basically been like 2 years of a, kind of what I consider a very far right blog is, constantly a drumbeat, that lied about votes that I did, just simply lied about my record.
Well, Suzanne Downing, she just makes things up all the time, and we can just
that might
say
be the name,
that's,
sure.
that's
it's just total fiction.
And this campaign, that's right.
Yeah, and the campaign referred to hers and reposted her very unusual sometimes, statements, and I don't know if you call them memes, but pictures of little fantasy stories. So it just continued that drumbeat. And that's what I expected. I mean, it was almost less of a campaign against Randy Salt as it was against that really unfortunate messaging. And it's unfortunate because people don't know, they read that and they believe it, so they don't really know who I am.
So win or lose today, John, where do you see yourself going as far as working with the Assembly, working with the mayor's office, and making sure that Anchorage is still moving forward?
I mean, if I win, you'll just see me do what I've been doing. And a lot of that is, I don't fight the mayor. I mean, he's elected, and, we've worked very well together, and I work well with the Assembly members. And I think of all the Assembly members there, I'm probably the mayor's best friend because I draw the other Assembly members towards his direction. If there's an item comes up, I'll have amendments that'll pull it to what I just see as a more reasonable place. And because I work well with the other Assembly members, they respect that. Very often they'll pass and we'll shift that ordinance from here over this way in a way that someone who's simply there to be a vote for the mayor won't be able to do. So should I continue? I'll just continue to do what you've seen me do. Should I, not win this one, then 3 motorcycles that should be on the road will get back on the road because they've been languishing for 6 years. And I will be riding them along journeys, and I will get back to running my business and making money for a change. So it's not a tragic life either way. I have a very full life, and I owe my wife a honeymoon, which we both look forward to. So
absolutely.
So there's no tragedy either way, but I would really, it is a very exciting time to be on the Assembly. The stuff we're working out with the homeless is just going to be transformative. We're going to fix the port. There's so many things. This infrastructure bill, we're going to be doing things on the hillside that need to be doing forever. It's just a very neat time to be on the Assembly, and just to be there is incredible. Yeah, it's exciting.
John, last thing, earlier when Forrest Dunbar was on, he did mention that and you said you've been kind of not necessarily opposed to Bronson like some of the other Assembly members, but they did, some of the people did go after you. From the right, why do you think why do you think that was the case?
Well, I guess you'd have to ask them that, but I think just broadly, I've been very much nonpartisan. I don't get that. I think the two-party system has not been good for us. Not to say Democrats are bad or Republicans bad. A two-party system is bad, and but I do think many Republicans. If you're not Republican, you're the enemy. And it's sad to view the world that way because it's not really the way we deal with anything else in our lives, right? You run a business, you don't go, well, what's the far right solution or the far left? You just say, what's the problem? You identify the problem and what are the potential solutions? It's just unusual that in running our government, we take this very bizarre bipolar way of trying to solve problems. And I just don't play that game. It just doesn't compute with me.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on, John. Again, it's a very close race, about 150 votes separating you and Randy. So it's
definitely the one to watch for sure.
We're going to see these votes trickling in over the next couple days and weeks, and we'll see how this one ends up. But thank you. We had Darren Colbrey on earlier, and he actually correctly, this is before the results came, and he correctly forecasted that he might
be a spoiler.
Mm-hmm. So he's got almost 2% of the vote.
I would be surprised at that. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I mean, as of now, it's pretty. He has 186 votes. So
yeah, and regardless of the turnout, we just really appreciate you putting your time and effort into being on the Assembly. So thank you.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, it's a real honor to be there. It really is. So however it rolls out, it's an incredible experience for me.
Thanks. Appreciate you coming on. Have a great night.
Thanks, everyone.
Yep.
See ya.
And folks, we were going to go to we were going to end the show, but we actually we're going to take a quick break.
Oh, no, I don't think she's mic'd up.
Are you mic'd up? Oh,
right.
come on. We have Stephanie Taylor here, candidate for East Anchorage in studio.
Thank
No,
you.
the producers are just so good here. With
They
the
are
mic.
on. She was in the hallway. She was putting things on.
You want a White Claw? We have plenty. Thank you for coming here. I know it's late. We're very, very happy you came by.
Thanks.
Your results came in. It's a bit of a margin here.
A little bit.
A lot of money in your race. I mean, almost $500,000 combined.
I know, that's kind of crazy, isn't it?
And
What are your thoughts on that?
You know, I think it speaks to people's dissatisfaction with what's going on. We had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of donors and people who've never given to a campaign before. A lot of people are really unhappy with life in Anchorage and the way the Assembly has been running things, and I think that's reflective.
Yeah. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
you know, it's your first time running for office,
anything.
right?
Yeah.
Wow. What was it like? I mean, it's always kind of harder going door to door for assembly races because it's wintertime and it's colder.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but you know, you do what you have to because that's where you meet people, that's where you get votes. It's knocking on doors.
What made you decide now's the time?
I was at a position in my life when I could, and I felt like I couldn't take what was going on anymore. You know, and it's like if people don't step up, nothing will change.
So, Stephanie, I've talked to more than one person who have just been so impressed by not just your campaign, but by you, who had very little exposure to you before that, and were like, this woman has come out of nowhere and has just been so impressive. Assuming the trend from tonight prevails, I think, well, I speak for the group and probably a lot of people out there, we hope this isn't the last we hear from you. Do you have any
Well, you know, I
plans
don't
or-
know. I am an eternal optimist, so it's not over till it's over. It's
Right.
only 17% of the votes that are in
Sure.
right now, so a lot can change, and this is his race to lose.
Sure.
So I don't have any plans beyond that right now. I'm geared up. I'm ready to go.
Right.
So
we do see the Republicans or the Conservatives tend to vote later. So
Yeah,
that's a bit
absolutely.
of a trend in many of these races over the years. So
yeah,
and I think Pete Peterson's he's coming up too. Is it next year?
he terms out next year.
Yeah. So
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Turned out.
Yeah.
It'll be a different race.
you had been pretty active in some of the assembly meetings from the last couple of years.
On and off.
I saw you show up to. I mean, why did you decide? Like, what got you involved in the process?
The mandates and the power grabs, those were a big deal. I think you don't mess with the balance of power. It was just wrong. So I couldn't, you cannot sit by with that kind of crazy going on. And I think, the problem I think is with so much strife, nothing's getting done for our city. And we've got to get rid of this us against them thing and work together because no progress is ever going to be made. And there are problems that are very solvable, but we got to work together.
Yeah. That's something we talked about a lot tonight is just
Yeah.
getting past doing how the city does
Right.
business and actually doing the business
Yeah.
of the city.
Yeah.
And enough of the drama.
Right. And the division and the rhetoric that is just, I think that is really what has caused so much division, so much polarizing, so many polarizing attitudes.
We saw these, the mask mandate with Zolotel and Peterson proposed, and we were at those meetings, and I mean, Anchorage got the international headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the mask either. I've been very clear about that. I mean, I'm not a mask guy.
And so should you prevail, you see yourself working well with the Assembly and the Mayor's office?
I do, yeah. I mean,
just
it's a
moving forward with
collaborative effort. And, people, in fact, my opponent tried to characterize me as a rubber stamp. I'm not a rubber stamp. We need balance, and we need people that can just look at things objectively and work together. What can we agree on? What are the problems, and how are we going to go about solving them? Instead of just this, it seems like the Assembly has gone out of their way to put obstacles in front of this mayor to keep him being successful. And I think a lot of people have seen that. And it's just not the way you govern. It's
been very adversarial.
Yeah.
And I mean, I go back to when I moved here in 2004 when I was younger, it was like, I didn't really know who anybody was. It was pretty boring. I mean,
right.
But boring is
I
good.
kind of miss that
I go
one.
back to
I don't know who
boring
these
things.
people are. Maybe I know one of them. I see the mayor at some event or something, but.
And I'm sorry, I don't know your background. Have you been in Anchorage a long time?
I've lived here 51 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's shocking to
Oh
see
yeah.
how different
yeah.
it is.
And we
That's
shouldn't.
Jonathan Taylor's mom.
We shouldn't have to. Yeah, I am Jonathan's
Jonathan
mom.
Taylor.
We shouldn't have to apologize for our city to people. But that's where things are going.
Yeah.
Well, we were saying earlier, I'm a big supporter of this bridge, and this, another example is this road in Juneau and Susitna-Watana and this gas line, all these projects that we talk about for decades and decades, and we fight about a 10-cent gas tax or about a dividend or about downtown Anchorage, but nothing seems to really change.
When's the last big thing we did?
Yeah.
That was transformative.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And that's depressing.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot to offer.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Stephanie, I want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
and,
thank you for
I've run
having
for office
me.
before, and it's great to run, and you learn a lot. And
Yeah.
I think we've not seen the last of you for sure.
I hope
Well, and I am not. I'm not done. I mean, this race is not over.
Right.
So, yeah.
We
shall see.
Now
we wait.
The bad part about vote by mail is we get the numbers,
And then
And then we wait.
and we wait
Yeah.
for a day.
Every
2
day.
days,
A lot of
3 days,
waiting.
4 days.
And the next day.
That's another reason why this thing's got to go.
You saw this Weddleton's Salt one. I mean, it's 150 votes,
Right.
so extremely close.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for coming in person. We really
thank you.
appreciate it. I know
Yeah.
it's late, but thank you for coming in and
Thanks for
talking
having
to us.
me.
And thank you for coming on the debate, too, before
Oh,
2
yeah.
weeks ago. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed
Otherwise, you could have had a little cutout. if
Yeah.
you didn't- That's what happens if you don't show up.
I think we're going to have a lot this legislative
We got to start
cycle.
lining
We're
them
gonna
up first.
Yeah.
Put them in storage or something. Well, again, Stephanie Taylor, candidate for East Anchorage, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And folks, I think we're going to start wrapping it up here pretty
Yeah.
quick. I mean, we've gone over the results. I don't think nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
And here we are.
This is all we will know.
And we'll be providing a lot more updates from the landmine. Maybe we'll do some Zooms
We'll do
or
some live Zooms. That's what we did last
maybe
time.
we'll get Trent and Carolyn and Scott to do a whole new show for us each day. Every day.
Every day,
At 5
Carolyn.
o'clock.
Carolyn, did you hear that? Every day.
We're going
at
to do one of these
5.
shows for no.
Carolyn's face says
Carolyn's
that was
face
that
said
was an
no.
eye roll. That was an eye roll.
Thank you so much.
Again, I want to thank Stephanie Taylor, Niall
Coming to
Williams,
Landmine
Randy
Studios.
Salt, Forrest Dunbar, Darren Colbrey. Who else did we have? We had Jason Gren stop by.
Oh yeah, Jason came by.
Dustin Darden was here for you missed that one.
Yeah, I was busy.
I was
over
eating
there.
pizza.
We had great candidates that stopped by. And again, I want to thank Carolyn, Scott, and Trent for being such great producers and getting us all set up here, and all the candidates that stopped by, and Sarah and Sabrena.
Yeah, it was fun.
Sarah, this was your first one. What did
I
you
know.
think?
Oh, I love this kind of stuff.
What did I say? I don't care if you're communist or fascist.
You know, I don't care if you're
Jeff.
communist or fascist.
I said, Jeff, that's another female. It's always just been me, the only girl. So this is the first time you've been outnumbered.
We had Andrew one time,
and Kale, and we had Tom was ours.
Oh, Tom Hewitt. Yeah,
Tom
that was
Hewitt
back when we
for
were at the
several
ADN.
for a couple years.
wow.
Yeah.
He
So
did a couple.
smart and fancy.
We actually had like a prep meeting.
God, that turned into a thing.
Yeah, that was.
We were at Simon and Seifert's having like a pre-election central meeting, and then it turned out like all old guard legislature folks came in, and it was
Yeah.
a whole thing.
Oh,
We were having
wow.
a pre-meeting. This is like 2018
That was,
Election Central.
yeah.
Actually, I came on your show that night.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yes.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Those
Tom had some fascinating disclosures too.
Tom Hewitt. We missed you, buddy.
I love Tom.
He's a fascinating individual.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
Tom Hewitt, the opinions editor at the Anchorage Daily News. So again, I want to thank Sarah, Sabrena, all of our guests, Scott, Trent, and Carolyn for producing the show.
Yeah.
Our sponsors, obviously, the Alaska Political Report. If you want to subscribe and get great news, it's $12.99 a year, $1,299 a year per organization. But you can add multiple emails. Like MEA gets it, and they have a bunch of email.
Who?
Your employee. Some utilities get it. Many utilities get it, and then they get a lot of email addresses. You have several employees.
Yeah, I've got 3 people get
so
it.
you can
in my
add
place.
multiple email addresses, and we have
Is one of them Cassie Campbell?
Yes.
Cassie Campbell
Who?
is
Right.
one of them. Cassie Campbell
Love
is one
that
of them.
girl.
And
She's
GCI
sleeping,
for
so
providing.
she won't even hear it.
She's
She's
what's she,
sleeping.
grandma.
right
It's 10 o'clock at night.
She's definitely sleeping.
She's in bed. Yeah.
100%.
With her dog and her cat.
Yep.
GCI, I want to thank GCI. Music's playing us off. Great internet, phone service.
We can't hear
TV, and Cascadia Cross Border Law Group, Margaret Stock, immigration attorney. I think we had a great show.
What
Yeah,
a
me
show.
too.
My Chuck Todd was.
And our
A little
viewers.
wanting.
Hey,
and
let's thank
our
our viewers.
Obviously, our
We still have 24 people that are just
Sticking
wide-eyed and
with us till the
bushy-tailed.
bitter end.
appreciate y'all folks being on here. Guys, we're going to be doing a lot more of these for the special election, June 11th.
God,
the
we have so
primary, the general debates. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff.
Can we
here
do
over
one
the
for
next
my recall on the
several,
19th?
several months here.
Cheers.
Yeah, we'll do a recall one too. You can host that one.
I'm good.
You're going to
thank
make
you.
it. Thanks a lot for watching, folks. Thank our producers, thank our guests, thank our viewers, thank our sponsors. We will see you next time. Thank you.